Cat, you're on my
Live.
dice. Oh, I didn't even post this was happening.
And now we're live.
Ah! Oh, God.
All right. Well, this is the first session of Castle Run in 3 weeks now, right?
I
I
Um,
forget.
Yeah.
I forget how to play.
yeah, since like, um, let's go ahead. How close, Ty, how close do you think that Q is to
Check my tea.
soon.
soon? Great. Well, the good news is that Vox goes last in the alphabetical order anyway. So, welcome everyone. I am your DM, Elijah Goodall, and we're going to go around, and everyone is going to introduce the character that they're playing real quick. And and then what's the prompt for tonight is to
Nothing.
I think we're going to go insect based again. If your character was a moth, what kind of a moth would they be?
Saying that like I know different species of moth.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I
a
fully
winged
expect
one.
everyone but you to be furiously Googling it, and you are just going to have to go with the only species of moth that you probably know.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sean. I am playing Atticus, the last Phoenix. He is from a ancient bloodline, trying to figure out what's going on with the world and himself, and just have fun with his friends in the meantime. Built like a brick shit house that likes to beat stuff up. And if he was a moth, I don't even know any species of moth.
He would be a brick shit house, a
He would be a
well-known
brick
species
shit
of moth
house.
that is real.
Yeah, he would be whatever moth tanks for its group and deal damage. Just a real like shit kicker.
A moth big enough to throw a brick.
Yes. A
Perfect.
daddy long leg. Wait, oh shit.
Just still a spider.
Yeah, he's
the
still
moth
a daddy
baby.
long leg. Yeah.
Oh, is it me?
I
Forget.
always
Good
forget
stall,
this
good
one
stall.
too. Yeah,
I think.
I
It's
think
me.
it is. Yeah.
If no one else is like, oh, it's my turn, then it's probably my turn. My name's Aaliyah, and I play Fauna, who is a human witch with mysterious horns, and she doesn't really know. No one really knows. Well, some people might know, but she
Certainly
doesn't
I
know
know.
where they came from. And yeah, she's just on this crazy adventure with these crazy fools. And I think if she was a moth, she would probably be a Luna moth because, witchy.
Perfect. Okay. The next. Oh God.
We all know alphabets.
We all know alphabets. I think it's Maury.
Okay. Hello. My name's Thaddeus. I'm playing Maury Weaver, who is a warlock, and he is learning more and more about his patron as he continues through this campaign. For a moth, I guess I'm going to have to go with the Black Witch Moth, which is violet and black in color, and it is apparently a small species because my Google search result was small moth species, black and violet. And I think the color palette is kind of how Maury's magic appears.
Yeah. God, it's called a black witch moth. That's the coolest moth name.
Yeah, there's a picture of it in the general chat.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at
Cool.
Maury stole mine, but I have a backup because I figured it would be that. The exact same reasons why you picked that. I was like, yes. But my name is June. Both my pronouns and my character's pronouns are she, they. And I play Nyx, and they are a dark-skinned shadow elf, a sorcerer. They have been working as an assassin for the Night Guard for nobody knows how long, and they've been newly freed from an enchanted locket and now owe the party a life debt. And they have no memory, no sense of identity, and no clue who they are, how old they are, or what to do next beyond fulfilling that life debt. And if they were a moth, either Black Witch Moth or the African Death's Head hawk moth, which is known for like a skull pattern across it, and it's got pretty striking colors, but also is a little bit lethal, and I like it.
Wait, what
There
makes
you
the
go.
moth lethal? Just because it has skulls?
It will straight up murder you.
It'll fly
Don't ask.
right down your mouth if you open your mouth. Just
Look,
and then
Don't
spread
ask
its
questions
wings.
you don't want the answer to.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Because there's one outside your window right now going, "Oh, you think I'm not lethal?"
Joke's on
Who's
you.
gonna
This
pick
house
moth?
doesn't have any windows.
We are right in the middle of a place owned by someone called the Moth, with a thing designed to kill us. So
True.
The
My
Moth
name.
Man, if you will.
Oh man, it's been prophesied. My name is Tyler. I play Perrin, who is a ranger and also a bard. Sean, I feel like I'm really killing it for you tonight already. Like these are landing for you. I think Perrin would be a. Perrin is like a suspicious guy. Sometimes friendly, sometimes not. Sometimes nobody knows what's going on. I definitely do, though, for sure. I'm not making it up as I go. I think Perrin would be a polyphemus moth. I think Perrin just really appreciates like their fiscal policy, you know?
Fuck you, dude. Why is that so funny? Oh, yeah, they're great. I have one as an accountant.
I'm sorry.
do all
I'm
the
just
accounting.
imagining a large moth with like a briefcase coming in and sitting down and be like, "Hey, listen, we got to go over your number. There's just things aren't
You're
lining up
spending
at the end
too
of this
much money
quarter. You are
on
hemorrhaging."
lights." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh," and then you find out the moth has been hemorrhaging your money to buy lights that it can gather around.
I see here you spent $2,000 last month at the Home Depot on fluorescents. What?
What was that for? He's like,
And also, where are those lights?
He's like, Oh my god. We're in for one today.
Yeah, I'm glad we're laughing now because it's about to not be funny at all.
Or is it?
Oh no.
Maybe
Hi.
we could just make moth jokes at the moth. He'll, you know.
Can everyone hear me? I know I set up a little late.
Yes.
So I don't know. Okay. I'm Q. I play Vox, a half-elf rogue who is on a mission right now to find information on her mom that's been missing forever and seems to be possibly around and wants to just kind of kill everyone who got in her way, and she's currently charged with murdering a king, and she did kill one, but not the one that they think. If Vox were a moth, I think Vox would be I just lost it. I had it pulled up. I don't know if it's worse or better to go last.
The best. I have no idea what any type of species of moth is, and I got put on the spot in the beginning.
What is moth?
She would be
My
a
accountant.
domestic silk moth because they are
Ooh.
very adorable looking, but also look very angry. And I feel like that's accurate. And I'm going to post one in our chat for us so everyone can see.
Perfect.
Did you just Google angry moth and then?
No.
How dare you imply something so very specific that happened?
Mhm. I wouldn't do that while I was sitting here saying that I was late.
Oh my god, the eyebrows on that moth.
You should. Here's my accountant.
that is adorable. It looks like it's
Okay.
plotting murder in like the fluffiest way possible.
Oh, fluffy murder.
So cute.
That would also probably be Atticus, because it looks menacing, but at the same time, it's like
Too late, you went
You.
first.
I didn't have time to look anything up. Okay, like
How dare you try to takesy backsy?
Elijah was like, "We're doing moths," and I'm like, "I know nothing about moths."
Don't-
Like,
and go.
I'm like, "Great, great, great, great,
Um,
great. Tight, tight, tight. Fun,
Yeah, I
fun,
just
fun."
googled biggest moth, and it's Australasian Hercules moth, and it's
Mhm,
huge.
mhm.
So that's probably Atticus.
I was also expecting an
Post a
Atlas moth
photo.
from Atticus
Ooh.
because they're ginormous.
Wow,
We
you really
were-
fucked this up.
Basically, Sean, we were just expecting you to know more moths, and you've disappointed
Yeah.
us all.
Apparently
was-
so.
I thought Aaliyah was gonna go white witch moth.
This is
Yeah, I didn't-
Atticus.
I didn't Google, and I only know 2 moths. One is Luna moth, and one is Death's Head moth. And I figured someone else has probably used Death's Head moth, so I just picked Luna moth. 'Cause
Wait,
those are the only
wait.
2 I know.
Our DM, what moth would our DM be?
Oh, what moth would I be?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
Better
gonna put you
make
on the
it
spot now,
good.
too.
What moth would every NPC be in our party?
Oh my
God. Burt's just a fruit fly.
Burt is a collection of all the dead moths that he has eaten.
Call it like you see it.
Like the ones where you like shake out, you shake
Oh,
out like
beautiful.
the little.
This is Atticus.
God, the little sconce and all the yeah.
Why are there so many images of online of super buff moths? I don't like. There's a rabbit hole to be.
We're not the
To go
first
down.
people to have this
Yeah,
Have
conversation.
you just
Be
discovered a new
real
fetish?
Careful. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
go too
that
deep on
sounds
the
like,
Reddit thread.
Yeah,
That
This better
sounds
not
like a
awaken
real-
anything
don't
in
go
me.
there.
I mean, that
Yeah.
moth's kind of hot.
Not to go down the rabbit hole too far, but there is a full just from 5 seconds of being online. There is a furry community that is into moths and
Very into moths.
I was gonna say that's a pretty niche community you found there, Sean.
Or
Fantastic.
is it?
Did I find it or did I? That
From being
Bookmark.
online, huh?
what
Online.
the fuck?
Can you send me that link and then I gotta go, guys. Sorry.
I'm out.
Oh, I
Um,
just heard I have an appointment.
All right. Well, when last we left the group, Atticus had made some new connections, or I guess not new connections, had made God, I can't think of words tonight. Like reforged some old connections.
An
With
old
his
flame,
friend-
maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
perhaps an old flame with his friend, the dwarven master blacksmith, Burgent Fellhammer, who actually gave you a key to a very particular cell in the catacomb dungeons beneath the Red Keep. And
that did happen.
yeah, with the split party, Vox, Fauna, and Nyx found themselves in the upper levels of the Black Mountain, an enormous curio shop on the eastern edge of Asparia. And at the last minute, slipping it into her pocket, Vox took a mask from an interesting cabinet in the corner, after which you started hearing, let's call them cries that appeared to be coming from different areas, maybe the floor above you, beneath you, until the source of the cries made itself visible after taking a hit, and you found yourself face to face with an enormous serpent with far too many limbs for a serpent. So kind of, those big, it's basically, I think we said like 8 sets of arms, 3 fingers that it kind of, uses as legs, but it can sort of rear up and also use those as arms. And finding yourselves in that danger, Amos, Perrin, your animal companion, the mockingbird, used your connection to inform you of the danger that the group was in. And I think the last thing that we did was, Perrin, you decided to cash in very quickly on that bargain that you made with the door lord, and after putting a sleepy berry on the face of the stool, threw it through the door. And we are going to begin. I think we had, I believe, the group that was in the Black Mountain Roll Initiative last time, because I have your initiative orders here. And here's what I'm going to say. Combat happens pretty quick. A round is 6 seconds. So even though Amos, like, you felt that pull from Amos very quickly, Perrin, I think in the maybe even seconds that it took you to go through that door, there's going to be one full round of combat that passes without you, Atticus, or Maury present in the Black Mountain. And so we are going to begin with combat. And then when you enter, we'll have the rest of the party roll initiative for that.
Real sorry about taking that mask, guys. I just put that together. That might be why we're in this. My bad.
You just put that together. Not that Fauna was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that.
No, I didn't.
You put the mask back.
Yeah, just put it back. It'll be fine. The serpent will go away.
So, beginning the combat, I think, again, I'll describe the space real quick. You are in this third level of the Black Mountain. This enormous serpent has just become visible. And this is actually kind of a sparser room compared to the other ones. There have been several objects in here of interest, but every kind of artifact in this space has its own area. So it's almost like this sparse, kind of curated museum room in here. There's not a lot of things, not a lot of crates to hide behind, not a lot of cover in here. And we are going to start at the top of the initiative order, which would be Nyx.
Ooh. For now, I'm still going to hold my Pass Without Trace that I dropped on everyone.
Cool.
So, holding concentration, Nyx is, as soon as the thing reveals itself, just shoot a firebolt at it. However, it's not like typical flame. It's almost like the absence of light, and almost like monochrome. It's as if like shadow itself is igniting, and it feels more like void energy than like actual fire. And I will make a ranged attack.
Yeah, go ahead and make that attack roll.
First roll of the session. Oh, it's a shitty one. It's a 13.
13 does not hit. Your void energy firebolt goes wide. I think just sort of like hitting the smooth black stone wall behind the head of the serpent as it sort of like lashes its long neck around and sort of gives one of those like rippling cries. And you can kind of see like it's just like the undulations in its throat as they pass down its body. Are you gonna do anything? I would say at this point, really, like the group is kind of, you are spread out from each other, but you are all within about 30 feet of the serpent. This is not a huge room that you're in.
Okay.
Even though the ceilings are higher, the actual dimensions of like the floor space that you have is not, it's this room's probably like 100 by 60 feet at most.
I think catching the miss, and almost as like in an afterthought, and the first one was like more testing the range. They're going to like reach in and close their hood and draw out shadow again, and I'm going to use a quickened for that. Right, that's 19.
Cool.
Does that hit?
A 19 does hit.
Cool. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up what this is. Okay. 14 damage.
Okay. Whew. Okay, cool. Yeah, you hit this thing, and it kind of like, you hit it like mid-cry, and it's sort of like, the cry gets cut short a little bit. But it like, sort of like, moves its, and you definitely have its attention in this moment. I think if that's it for your turn, Nyx, the orc bodyguard that you all borrowed from Mira, Jeff, is directly underneath this thing, having struck it right in the beginning and got it to drop Burt. So Jeff is going to go for an attack again. And first one doesn't hit. Second one hits. Ooh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's you see like that first hit from Jeff sort of like glances off the hide of this serpent, and he brings that spear, and it sort of like that you see that the tip like finds purchase and sinks into the neck a little bit as he sort of like gives it a torque. And that is going to be Jeff's turn. You staying there, Vox? That's going to be you. Oh, you're muted.
That's okay. I was just silently swearing myself still for getting us into this. Right. Vox is just gonna do what she knows best and try to slash at this thing with, I think I still have 2 daggers. She's not pulling out matchstick yet. Oof, my bad. So the first one was a natural 1.
Ooh.
We'll just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I do not hit.
Okay. Yeah, I think in this moment, Vox, you find yourself like just sort of like this thing came on you so quick. I think, I mean, you can tell me, is Vox's heart still racing a little bit from the high of snagging that mask?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That is going to pass to Cricket's turn. I think as soon as this thing becomes like, Cricket is already kind of like just sort of crouched on the floor, like quivering. I think as soon as this thing becomes visible and Cricket gets direct eyesight on it, you see him look around at all of you and then just bolt for the door. Is gonna use his full action to dash, and he is like he's pretty much almost gone. Kind of running down that little tiny narrow hallway that empties out into the room that you're all in. But I am gonna make a little roll for him real quick. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. Let's call it. Okay, cool. I'll just write something down. Okay, Fauna, that's you.
Okay. Fauna is going to use her bonus action first. I can do that, right?
Yeah.
To cast Ancestral Shroud.
Cool.
To hopefully add some extra damage.
Yeah.
And then cast Firebolt.
Awesome. Yeah, roll that. Make that attack roll.
It's gonna be 20. Dirty 20.
Oh, that hits.
Okay. Is this the right? Yeah, okay. Yikes. Okay. Hold on, let me find my other one. Okay, 6 points of damage.
Okay. Is that with the Ancestral Shroud damage too?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think you make that attack. That's your action, your bonus action. I think
Just
fun
shooting
as
off
you-
those green
yeah,
fireballs.
as you sort of like summon the Ancestral Shroud too, I think the cat who is like is sort of like crouching next to you and just sort of like looking doesn't say anything, but is just sort of like looking to you as his back is arched and he's kind of just like behind you a little bit, but not entirely.
Yeah.
Okay, at the end of your turn, that is going to be Burt. Burt is going to, I think, just having fun. Let's see, he's going to use half his movement to get up. And I think being closest to, I think right now Burt is closest to, actually, let's roll a perception check to see if you notice that he does. So Burt is actually going to use the rest of his movement to move over next to you, Nyx, kind of over by where the orb was that you were all initially looking at. And you see Burt just kind of like take up a defensive position in front of you. Since you have this thing's attention, yeah. Just a little toad knight with his sword and his shield ready to go. And at the end of Burt's turn, that is going to be the Serpent for the first time.
Sorry, does Amos get a standalone turn, being that she's already been given instructions? I didn't roll initiative or anything.
Yeah, actually, I think... let's do that, since you're not here yet. That puts... there. Yeah, actually, here's what's going to happen, is that the Keeper goes to, like, I think the Keeper's going to, like, immediately begin to move towards Nyx. Like, you know, like 6 of its arms are just kind of, like, crawling over the floor and moving over objects. And 2 just kind of, like, are reached out as it, like, pulls its neck back a little bit in a kind of arc. As this is happening, though, Amos is going to, like, just sort of dive in at its eyes, and it's going to impose disadvantage on this round of attacks.
Call.
Let's see. We're going to do that first. Okay. Nyx, you are sort of like, all of a sudden you find yourself staring down this monster, and I think as it like must like dive bombs at its eyes and it sort of like swats away, but it reaches out one more hand and it's going to like actually reach out, and these hands are larger, like it was able to grab Burt easily. Its hands, like, you know, the 3-fingered hand on the end of this limb is still large enough to fully like almost pick you up as it reaches in, and it is actually going to make an attempt to grapple you. So I need you to either make an athletics or an acrobatics check, and I will tell you you're trying to get an 18 or higher right now to not be grappled.
Before I do this, remind me of the difference between grappled. Grappled is just no movement, right?
Yeah, if you're grappled, you're no movement. This thing's gonna get like advantage on its attacks against you too if you're still actively grappled. You have to use your action to like make another grapple check to try and escape. Unless you want to, you are able to, like, while you're grappled, because of, you know, you're not unconscious or anything. If you don't want to try and escape the grapple, you can still just use your attack action against the thing while you're grappled, but then you remain grappled.
Okay.
Because once it beats you, it doesn't have to keep doing it to maintain the check. You just have to beat its, you know, beat an attempt against it to escape.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mark it this time. Does anyone remember if I used my favorite by the gods last session?
I don't remember you using it, because I don't think I knew that Nyx had that, and I think I would have remembered if you'd used it last session. I don't
remember hearing it.
Yeah.
Thing that she gave me. Because I got
Oh,
a
that's right. I don't think you did use it. Yeah. That's what that is. Yeah.
To add that on. Yeah, that's a 19 currently.
Okay.
20, dirty 20.
Yeah, you are able to, like, you just slip under as it comes in. You are able to slip. I think too, because of like almost darting at this thing's eyes. That is its turn. Let's see. I will also say you're about right now, Nyx, you're about, like, the orb is kind of directly behind you. You're probably about 20 feet away from it. I would say, like, that's the closest object in the room to you, other than the serpent. So that is the end of this thing's turn. That marks the beginning of the next round. And I believe the rest of the party, you all immediately went through the door that Perrin opened, right?
Yeah.
So Perrin, as you've tossed this stool in, the door's open. It leads into, it's just dark on the other side of the door. You can't see anything. And I think as the party, as the three of you step through, Atticus, Maury, and Perrin, you open the door, and you step into that darkness. And I think almost immediately you see just this black door in front of you with kind of these veins of almost gold in it. And I think all of you hear this voice whispering without a check, because it's just echoing around in this space. But speaking to you, Perrin, you just hear, "A bargain well made."
Wait, there's one thing I have to tell you. Get fucked.
You hear a small, just a small chuckle of amusement. And the other door is immediately in front of you. What do you do?
I think Perrin has already started slinging together ornament of rites. So he has assembled the mace onto his quarterstaff, and he is igniting a sacred incense inside of the head of ornament of rites, and he is not looking at anyone else. He's not looking at Mari. He's not looking at Atticus. He's just walking on through.
Oh, we're walking into a fight. Oh shit! And Atticus is gonna unsheath his sword.
We're not walking into a fight, Atticus. We're walking into me killing whatever took Stooley away.
This is for Stooley. And he's gonna
Look,
look at.
You don't have to sound sarcastic about it.
No, I'm being serious, man. It's just, and he's gonna start like.
It's a serious
walking through
issue.
I know you're hurting right now. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yes, we'll murder. We're going on a murder fest.
All right. Well, now you're making it sound boring.
And the three of you step through the door. I think as you step through the door, the rest of the party that is already in the Black Mountain, what you see is immediately kind of to the left, and fairly close to, like, you know, there's a few things that I mentioned in this space already, but fairly close to kind of, there's just this large, I think 12-foot tall, darkened looking glass. It's kind of in this ornate frame over on the wall. And I think immediately next to that, you just, like, creating seams, you see a portion of the wall just open, much like a door. Atticus, Mori, and Perrin, go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Uh, 21.
Okay.
I got 21 too. Let's go.
I got 19.
Okay. Those are all
The cavalry has arrived.
good. So that's going to put... I'm going to assume... Maury, I'm going to assume that you have slightly better dexterity than Atticus. Like your total
14.
score? 14? What's yours,
Yeah.
Atticus?
I'm also 14. If you want to go first, you're more than welcome to.
Rock,
I
paper,
actually,
scissors.
I was wondering, Elijah, since they're talking about like fighting and killing, can Maury take an action and summon something as he's walking into this doorway?
Yeah, I think you can have... I think you could have prepared an action.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
I
that won't count
definitely
as
wanted.
your-
Okay, I was going to summon my shadow spawn as we're walking through. So as I'm trailing, this other
Cool.
creature just kind of spawns in behind me.
Okay. Okay, so I've got Maury going before Atticus. Okay, and if we're at the top of the initiative, or the Nyx, that makes it your turn again.
I think as they like slither away from this thing trying to grab them. While the first attack was made like more out of like hardwired instinct to just defend themselves and like attack what they appear to be a threat, now they are actually focusing in on the kill. And so they will reach up and lift up their mask over the mouth and nose. And I'm... Was this thing invisible before?
It was invisible before.
Remind me what made it come, like, appear.
Jeff, I think, got that a nat 20 on his initiative, so he got like almost this quick extra like surprise action, and he was able to stab it, and upon stabbing it, it became visible.
So sustained damage. As the rest of the party comes in, they're going to cast Guiding Bolt on this and try and give everyone else some extra goodies here.
Cool.
Sorry to backtrack for just a second.
Yeah.
When Perrin said we're gonna go murder things, can I have that be bardic inspiration given to Atticus?
100%. Yep.
Just slip on in there. Okay.
Yep.
Cavalry has arrived.
Sweet. So like kind of very similar to the firebolts. As they like reach up and lift up their mask, they're also going to reach in and throw out a just streak of like void energy, and it will hit and shimmer around the serpent, but it's not light so much as like consuming the light around it.
Cool.
So it seems fairly monochrome, and you can see the outline of it purely because it's like it's just eating up the energy around it.
Awesome.
And damage. Sweet. 12 damage, and that's
Okay.
radiant.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you strike it. This thing like just sort of gives this long, like low as it rears back again from you. It almost looks a little bit not cautious of you, but it doesn't appear to be just paying attention to you anymore, as it sort of like starts to look around and really like kind of clock, you know, the 3 new party members entering and realize that there are a lot of people in here.
Everyone else has advantage until my turn.
I looked up guiding bolt. I think it's just the very next attack roll that happens before the end of your next turn. So it's whoever attacks it next, and then but it only works for one person.
Okay. Yeah.
It like has that same effect as Fairy Fire, except it doesn't last. It just works for the very next attack.
Cool.
Okay.
Which is...
Oh, it's still great because it also does like 46 damage, which is punches way hard. Fairy Fire doesn't do any damage. Okay. Nix, if you're not moving anywhere at the end of your turn, that is going to make it.
That does remind me. I did want to actually see if I could move, like, as they're, like, sliding out of this grip, if they could move to, like, find any of, like, the little museum columns, or any, like, object that's in the way. Just get some kind of cover going on.
You can. I will say that the closest thing behind you is the, like, large black column that the orb is sitting on, just kind of like sitting in a cushion back on this orb. That is big enough for you to kind of like try and get behind if you want to.
I would do that. I would also like to, as I slide around behind it, maybe do an Arcana check on it and see kind of like how I feel, what's going on about this thing.
Yep, give me an Arcana check.
17.
On a 17, you look around and you like see the pedestal. I think before you move in its direction, you immediately get this feeling that this creature is the most immediate threat. It is not the only dangerous thing in this room, and something in your gut tells you that you should not approach that pedestal. Within 30 feet, I like other options of things to hide behind. I think almost everything else in this room is actually kind of like up against the wall. So really, like, other than, I think in this pedestal, like there's a couple like little series of like steps and things like that, you know, raise different portions of the room slightly higher, but there's not really anything else to hide behind other than that pedestal.
The June doesn't want to. Nyx wouldn't care.
Okay.
So I think they're gonna like check that and just like priority. This thing's trying to kill me. I can deal with this later,
Okay.
and just slide around behind it anyways.
You make you slide out of that thing, you fire off your guiding bolt, and as that hits and the serpent rears back from you a little bit, you bolt for the pedestal. And I think as you start to move towards it and you enter its space, all of a sudden you feel weight, and it's almost like it's like the pressure of being underwater. All of a sudden you feel your ears pop. Every step that you draw closer to it begins to feel like increasingly heavy, but you're already sort of like, you're starting this motion. You're realizing as you step in with every step, there's more pressure. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh shit. Spending a point. I rolled the exact same thing. That's a 9.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
Okay.
That was a lot of dice, Elijah.
It's not great. Okay. Think, Nyx, you're not ready for like your ears pop. You start to feel like it's almost like you can feel your nose starting to bleed too almost immediately, and the intensity of that pressure just sort of takes you, and you're actually you realize you're unable to stop moving. You are pulled in a direct line, like the rest of the 15 feet forward towards the pedestal as you come like crashing into the thing. And you are going to take 31 points of force damage as the gravity of this thing just like, it's not just hitting the column hurts. It's nothing compared to the pressure that you're feeling right now of this thing sucking you in. Okay.
Oh my god.
That was a lot of damage. Holy shit.
Can
Do you want me to do death saves now or wait?
You get to wait. So,
Can I
you
ask
my
a
God.
question real
Mhm.
quick? Sorry. I feel like I haven't been paying attention to this, but looking at like the combat rules for the cat essentially gets like an attack or giving someone advantage every turn. And I feel like I haven't really been doing that. Or do you do that as like the
You can
cat?
totally no. You can do that.
So can I like retroactively say that the cat would have just given someone advantage as a bonus action?
I will.
Is it too
I
late
will
to give that to
allow.
Nyx? Because I
Let me
wasn't
tell you,
reading my
because
sheet.
Nyx, you did the thing where you spend a sorcery point to re-roll a die, right? But that's not like rolling with advantage.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, this is on me as like a learner.
Yeah, you
So-
re-roll it and take
So if you said
re-roll.
no, it's okay. I'll do it next.
Okay.
turn.
So go
You're,
ahead.
you're
and,
giving
go ahead
advantage
and-
to saving Stooley, right?
Yeah. Go ahead and make.
I think
Go
it's
ahead
a
and
little late
make
for that.
that second roll with advantage and see if you can get higher than that
I'm
9.
so scared now, knowing the consequences. That was a nat 1.
No.
74
Damn.
points
I
of
tried.
damage.
I think as this as you're starting to get pulled by this thing, Fauna the cat looks up at you and is like, I don't think the serpent is the most dangerous thing in the room. And it bolts towards Nyx, and sort of like it's like skitters short when it in trying to like get in between you and the thing. It sort of like skitters short as it realizes you're already caught. That you're already caught by this thing. So the damage is going to remain. You are out. And the cat is just sort of like watching from the safe spot as you collide with
Stay
the
away,
pedestal.
kitty.
Yeah.
You don't want this.
I think at the end, Burt kind of turns around and sees this happen, Nyx, because he was directly in front of you. I think at the end of your turn, this serpent is going to take one of its 2 legendary actions to actually head for the largest thing that just entered the room, which is kind of as it sees the new party come in. Atticus, it clocks you and just sort of like immediately comes scurrying for you. I did say that Jeff is underneath it, so Jeff is going to get an attack of opportunity. That hits. I think he's going to drive his spear in a little bit more. This thing doesn't even care. Atticus, as this thing rushes in on you, it's just going to immediately its neck sort of just like lashes out. And that enormous, again, there's no snout on this thing. It's almost kind of like a worm's head with like this mouth that splits it. And it is going to snake that head in and go for a bite on you. However, I bet that a 13 does not hit.
It does not.
Okay. Maury, that's your turn.
All right. I am going to kind of take a look around the room with my Eldritch sight and see
72
kind of
damage.
and kind of look around to see what is magical, what's not.
Yeah. You can give me a perception check or an arcana check.
Okay. I'll do
depending on what kind of information you want.
I'll do an arcana check, and I'm kind of looking for does the snake look enchanted, and is there anything else that looks enchanted or magical?
Cool. Yeah, make me an arcana check.
13.
On a 13, I think you step into this space. You are greeted with, I think, absolute chaos. You do see Nyx start to take some steps, but then almost slip and be drawn and collide into that pedestal that the orb is on before going unconscious. I think seeing that and how carefully this room appears to be curated, I think on a 13 you can immediately tell the artifacts in this they're most likely dangerous. You don't know on a 13 if all of them are going to have some kind of area of effect if you draw close to the artifact. Clearly the one that was that Nyx was approaching does have an area of effect on it. I think on that 13 too, you do feel there is some kind of connection between this creature and the items in the room. You feel it. And it's less you think that the objects are connected to, it's almost like you're seeing it's almost like seeing a selfish child defend its toys from other children.
And that's coming from the pedestal?
That's coming from the serpent.
It's coming from
The
the
creature, yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to have my shadow spawn move up to the serpent, and it's going to do its scream of the day next to it. Where is that page? Okay. Dreadful scream. The spirit screams. Each creature within 30 feet of it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against my spell save DC.
Cool.
And so that does actually go for everybody else, but I'm not going to make him attack you, so you guys are good if you don't want to roll it.
Okay, so what kind of a saving throw am I making?
16.
What kind though?
Oh,
it a
wisdom.
wisdom save?
Wisdom, yeah, wisdom.
With a 19 on the die, this
nice.
thing shrugs off that effect like it's nothing.
Okay, and then I'm going to use my card I got from session 2 with the moonlight. I'm gonna cast moonlight on it.
Cool.
Moonbeam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the
Is that
start
what
of
this
its
scream
movement-
sounds like?
No, it's embedded in the audio track that's playing right now. If you hear it sometimes, it's like you'll hear it's this long. If there's a clear moment, I'll point it out.
So on its turn, it's going to have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Right. Yeah, I think I do that now, and then it continues to, like, if it stays in that moon, if any part of its body is in that space still. God.
Oh, okay.
But for this initial with a nat 20 on that, it's gonna make the Constitution
God.
save for sure.
Okay.
So
but it
it's
takes
just
half damage.
Yeah, half damage.
And so that is a 1 plus a 10, 11. So
Okay.
5.
Yep.
But then it has to do it again.
Yep. Yeah, if it stays in that space, because now Moonbeam is just I think like
It says when it starts its turn there.
yes. Yeah. Or if it, because I think this is concentration too, so as long as you maintain it, if it moves back into that space as well, it will.
Yeah.
But you're kind of casting this almost kind of really right in front of you because this thing is approaching the three of you coming through the door. Okay.
Can I move?
Yeah, you can move. This thing, you're kind of like, all three of you have come through the door, so you're all right there. And this thing is in your area because it attacked Atticus. If you move far away, it is going to get an attack of opportunity on you because you'll leave its threatened area.
Can I use the Shadow of Uldan to turn invisible and then walk away?
Ooh. That's an Eldritch thing. What is that?
That's a Eldritch ability. It allows for 1 minute of invisibility.
Does it say what kind of an action it is? Or is it just a free, can it just
it might-
happen?
This is a good question because I was thinking it was a bonus action. So I will have to look. But we can move along.
Okay.
I guess I'm still gonna want to move away. So let me just see real quick. One thing I didn't have pulled up already.
Oh yeah, that was it. It just happened. That scream thing.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time looking it up. Shroud of Oh, it's as an action, so I just move away.
Okay. Okay. If you go to move away, this thing is going to take an attack of opportunity at you. It's going to snap at you too. That was cocked. Let's re-roll it. Ooh. Does a 16 hit?
Probably 13. Yeah.
Okay. As you kind of go to move away from this towering creature, Wade is going to, like, it kind of like turns its head, like, comes back from snapping at Atticus and goes for you. Does have very large jaws. That is going to be 16 points of piercing damage as it just kind of like gets the lower half of you and bites and sort of just kind of tosses you. You're not going to go prone or anything, and you are able to like keep moving away. I will say though, the only real like object to hide behind though in this space is that like the pedestal that you saw Nyx get.
Oh,
pulled
I'm
towards.
not trying to hide. I'm just
Cool.
trying to move away from it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that again, like sort of where you've all come in, that pedestal with the orb is sort of at the far end of the room. You can, without going close to it though, definitely get like kind of further over into another corner of the room.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Atticus, that's going to be you.
Did Atticus see Nyx just drop when they like went by this, or
I think
okay.
you all did. I think as soon as you walked into chaos because you saw Nyx make that strike, and then you saw them get like start to run and then get just pulled and smash into that pedestal.
Okay. Atticus is gonna step back with his sword and just try and drive it like in just square center of
Cool.
this moth thing.
Yeah, make an attack roll for me.
16.
The snake thing?
The snake thing. Yeah, I will say this is not well, I guess you wouldn't know who the necessarily like the curator of this space is, but this thing does not look terribly intelligent. That hits though.
Okay, cool. That's gonna be 12 damage.
Okay.
And then okay, Atticus, and then with my second attack, Atticus is, can I like move it, like try and like strength it closer to where like Nyx is?
Ooh,
How big is it? Is it like in comparison
It's-
to Atticus?
I mean, it's pretty big. Like this thing,
Okay.
I would say like it takes up probably like, it only takes up 5 feet, and it's kind of, but it probably takes up like kind of its serpentine body takes up about 25 feet. Like this does
Okay.
count as like a huge creature.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. He's gonna, when he has his sword in, he's gonna like look at the group and be like, someone get our friend right now. And he's gonna try and, with his second attack, like just bring his like the sword out like through like whatever shoulder thing,
Cool.
if it has a shoulder.
Yeah, make that attack roll again.
19, which
19
is
hits.
a crit.
Oh, 19 on the die. Okay.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
With improved crit,
Yeah.
yeah. Make that roll.
Okay. That's gonna be 20 damage.
Okay.
Do I do it? Do I? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna action surge.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Keep tearing away at this thing.
Jesus Christ, yeah. 4.
4 does
Doesn't.
not hit.
Okay. And then for the last one, 17.
17 hits.
Okay. That's gonna be 8.
Okay.
So 20, 11, 8.
Yeah, I think this serpentine creature immediately has realized that its decision to come after you, it does now check you as the toughest thing in the room. I actually
I'm gonna
also
spit
just
on
realized
it.
though you had, I think you
Well, bardic inspiration too, but
Yes, you do.
you do, but you also made the first attack because Mori's were all spells and they weren't spell attacks. So I realized you actually get to roll that very first attack with advantage. You hit it, but if you want to roll again just to see if you crit on that very first attack too, you can.
a 19. A 19.
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't these dice so much.
Don't add your strength modifier to it, just roll that extra die
Okay.
for the damage.
Okay. 5.
Okay.
So extra 5.
Yeah, you have this thing's full attention now, Atticus.
I'm just gonna like stare it down.
Yeah, I think
and smirk.
You know, you called out for like somebody to help Nyx. I think Jeff, not really being part of your like not afraid, like you do see, I mean, you're the three of you I think are seeing I think you saw this, I guess you saw this orc back in the tavern. So you do clock that, but Jeff isn't going to go for Nyx. He is going to try and come up behind this and just sort of like pin. So flanking with you, Atticus is going to come up and try and use his spear to like pin down the tail of this thing. That's an attack with advantage. Let's see. Oops. That is a 7. As this thing's tail's whipping around there, he's not, she just kind of strikes into the stone. And that is a miss. He hits 2 attacks though, so he's going to try again. Oh my god. Okay, that second one does hit. And just sort of like uses the, and just kind of like gets the tip of the tail, and like you hear the spear like go into the stone floor too as it drives through the tail. That is Jeff's turn. Perrin, it's going to be you.
Yeah, Perrin's coming in hot. He's swinging his ornament of rights around. He's in his acrobatic mode. Anybody who happens to notice, I don't think anybody wants to roll, but if anyone's paying attention, his eyes look just completely black, like all the way across. He's in something. And he's going to go ahead and swing around and try to hit this thing with Ornament of Rights.
Cool.
And I'm assuming as I come in, Amos flits over to Perrin,
Yep.
which would give me... Okay, so I'm regaining advantage on my attack rolls until reassigned elsewhere.
Cool.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, the dirty 20 hits.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. 5. Sorry, I'm playing too many characters. 3. Where did I write my proficiency? I'm sorry, 21. That's all. All of that was to find out it was 21.
It definitely hits.
Yep. So that is bludgeoning damage is 6. Additional 5 true damage. Fire damage.
Okay.
From the sacred incense.
So 11 total.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I think it's kind of the sparks come out from this damage too, upon its hit, and kind of like that, you know, there's sort of that like glow from the brazier, like you see like it's, I mean this, it's still got a lot of fight left in it, but it is definitely taken some licks as it sort of like rears back, and again there's that like undulating almost sort of shriek, and you all see its throat kind of rippling all the way down.
Can I gain... Did you use your bardic inspiration, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. So then as Perrin is doing this, I'm going to use my bonus action. And he's just humming this kind of eerie song under his breath. And he's going to give bardic inspiration to Mari as well.
Cool.
What does that do for me again?
You gain an extra d6 for skill checks or saving throws, attack rolls.
Yeah.
And you can decide to use it after you roll your d20, but before you find out whether it succeeds or fails.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get it once, and then it's gone until you get it again.
Cool.
Perrin, at the end of your turn, this thing is going to take one of its legendary actions to kind of like you see it back off a little bit after the ferocity of Atticus's attack. And as you see it back up, it kind of like it sort of now gives us just sort of a soft like, and with that rattling sigh, it is going to go invisible. So you immediately, all of you see this large creature just like disappear. That is going to be its legendary. I think that happens too, and as it disappears, that's going to make it, Vox, that's going to make it your turn.
Vox is going to run towards the orb and towards Nyx, but not before seeing that this thing has gone invisible and doing what she thinks is just the smartest thing she can, and is just going to throw all 900 of her ball bearings out onto this floor.
Yeah.
Which I think just happens.
Yep.
And she is going to run over to the orb and try to pull Nyx away from it.
Cool. So as you're running towards this orb and you approach close to it, I think two things are going to happen. Number one, I think running for this orb, you are going to pass through. It's a pretty long thing. You are going to run through, and it is invisible. You're going to run through, and it's going to take an attack of opportunity. Use you kind of dart by it. That, however, is a definite miss because that is on 12. Does a 12 hit?
12 is my AC. I need to go shopping, guys.
You got to go shopping. Bucks, as you're running towards, you feel, let's see, that is just gonna be, where did they go?
I also have, is Pass Without Trace down because Nyx is down?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yep.
Oh.
You feel the, like, probably what you think is either like a part of this thing's body or its tail just like smash into your back. You're going to take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. But you can still keep, I think you're still able to keep running for the pedestal. And I will tell you, as you approach, you also begin to feel that enormous pressure, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
It's a 15.
Okay. A 15 just makes the save.
Oh, thank goodness.
So you're not going to get pulled directly towards the pedestal. And then you're only going to take half damage. Which, let's see. Which is, in this particular case, only going to be 13 points of force damage.
Ox is not looking great.
Yeah. I think you feel like it's almost like your bones hurt moving through the aura of this orb as you approach. But you are able to, I think you're able to get to, Nyx, and you still have your action left.
I can't really do much. I have no.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a medicine
weapon.
check to stabilize.
Yeah, I'll stabilize
don't
her
have
as
healing.
best as I can.
Even just getting them up, they can heal themselves.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. It's a 19.
19 definitely stabilizes. So, Nyx, you're not going to have to make... You're still unconscious, but you're not going to have to make death saving throws anymore. And you don't have to worry about, like, taking hits, which are automatic failures to death saving throws. I mean, if you take a hit, you'll become unstable again.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that's your action. Do you have any bonus action that you want to do before the end of your turn?
I threw the ball bearings.
That's right. You did. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Which is a good idea because it's going to make it a lot easier to find this thing as it is moving around the room. Okay.
Does my moonlight affect it since it went invisible?
No, it'll still be hurt by the thing. But it doesn't, like, moonlight won't reveal an invisible thing.
Well, okay.
I need to buy more ball bearings now.
Put it on the shopping list.
Yeah.
Everything's on Vox's shopping list.
Might have to buy a casket too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
A box
Fauna,
for Vox.
Fauna, that's going to be your turn.
Okay. First, can you guys hear me okay? Am I still really quiet?
You're a
Lot better
little
for
bit
me.
quieter than you would usually be,
Better?
but I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can turn it up a tiny bit more. 1 second.
It's better for me for sure.
I did turn it up a little bit. I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to like dial
No,
in
it's okay.
the settings.
Oh, you're good.
I
Okay,
can.
how's
I mean,
that?
I can
Is that
hear you
better?
fine. Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. Okay. So if somebody is down, like if Nyx is down, protecting them, like not healing but just protecting them, isn't really gonna do anything, right? Like they're already down.
Nyx is. It's not going to do anything. I mean, it could prevent them potentially from taking hits. But Nyx is stabilized too at this point. So
Right.
there's
I'm
no
saying
active. There's no active danger. Like Nyx isn't dying right now.
Right.
And
Okay.
a little bit of metagaming. It's been clear that this thing is targeting whatever it seems to be the biggest threat, which Nyx is not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is Fauna still like, I feel like the last place that I was kind of by the mask cabinet with
Yeah, with Vox.
So is that just still where I am because I haven't moved, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Since Vox has already removed a mask from the cabinet, we're already
Oh
in
yeah,
shit.
steal.
I want to do an Arcana check, or whatever the best check would be, to see if any of these other masks have magical properties that could be of use in this
Cool.
situation.
Yeah, make me an Arcana check.
Let's see. Oh, 9.
I don't know. Like they just look like you can tell that there's magic coming here, but none of them seem particularly useful for what looks to be. It's just a fight with an incredibly like. You've been in a couple fights now, Fauna. This thing seems significantly more dangerous than anything else that you fought, and it
Right?
does not
Okay.
look like those masks are going to help.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to. Let's see. Mari's already doing Moonbeam. Okay, I think I'm going to just. I still have Ancestral Shout. I think I'm just gonna Firebolt again. That's my best weapon at the moment. And I got a 5. Not going great.
I think you get like.
I just like trip and fall down while I'm trying to.
Yeah,
shoot
like
the firebolt.
this is your
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think in a series of increasingly overwhelming things that have happened to Fauna in the last few days since you left your coven in the woods.
Can I have Cat give me advantage since it's my turn and Cat's turn now?
You can, yeah.
Okay, let's try one more time. Because 5 is a real sad situation. Okay, well, that time I only got 11, so.
An 11 doesn't hit either. Also, actually, wait. The cat. What I should have, because the cat's this. So this thing is invisible, which means that all attacks against it are made with disadvantage anyway. So the cat would have canceled that out. But I mean, the 11 wouldn't have hit anyway.
Right. Okay. And then, I still have a bonus action, right?
You do, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to... Can I... Oh no, I can't see the thing.
If it's something, yes. So you can make a perception check to try and tell where it is.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, cool. Actually, I need to make the stealth check for this thing too, which it's going to do with disadvantage because of those ball bearings. That is still not low. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna quit the game now. Thanks.
No.
Okay. Well, actually, I have really high perception, but that's still not good. I got 10.
10
But
total.
I only had a 2. I only had a 2 on the die. So.
You're not able to. I think you would maybe assume that this thing hasn't really moved that much yet. Again, it's pretty big, and it's so it takes up a sizable amount of the room. But you can't tell where this thing is. I mean, it's gone invisible, and it hasn't really made enough movement yet to try and. So the best that you can guess is it's still where it was.
Okay. Is anyone within 30 feet of me, or am I like off by myself right now?
Yeah, I think that you are, the way that this room is set up and kind of the cabinets like vicinity to the, I don't think you're not quite within 30 feet of the orb. You are within 30 feet, like you're across the room from, I'm going to say you're within 30 feet of Atticus and Perrin. Maury moved away, so you're not within. And I guess Jeff and Burt are right there too.
I guess. Who's next? Sorry, who's next after me in the?
Would be Burt. The next actual like player character coming would be the initiative order resets, and then it's Nyx, and then Maury after Nyx.
I think I'm gonna. Oh no, Fox isn't a thing. I'm gonna do. I'll do. I'm gonna use my bonus action to use Sanctuary on Perrin.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to go like far down the order so that they have the most chance
Protection.
of being
Yep.
before, because
Yeah.
if they use an attack, then it like breaks the thing. So
I will say to metagame, I mean, if Nyx doesn't get healed, Nyx isn't going to be able to attack either.
that's true. But if the thing's not really going to be coming for them at all,
Does that only get deactivated on physical attacks?
Yep. No, I think it's
Okay.
any like if you make any aggressive action towards
Yeah,
something,
spell.
then you lose Sanctuary.
attack or casting a spell or dealing damage to another creature.
Yeah.
Basically, if you do anything besides move around,
Yeah.
the spell ends. So it's mostly just to protect someone further along the chain from getting like attacked when the
Yeah.
monster attacks.
Okay, cool. You cast that on Perrin. I'm gonna make a little note so I don't forget. Okay, and then Fauna, at the end of your turn, this thing is going to take its second legendary action to let me just make the rolls real quick. As you are like kneeling down next to Nyx and like attempting to stabilize them, you just hear a long, low coming from behind you. And I know that a 19 hits with your AC. You hear that long, low hiss, and then you are going to take 11 points of piercing damage as this thing comes in to and you feel its like jaws sink into your leg.
Vox is out in death saves.
Okay.
Hi.
Go ahead, because you slipped the mask like into your bag, right? Like you weren't still just holding it.
Yeah, no, it's in her
Okay.
bag.
Okay, cool. Okay. That's its legendary action. Burt is going to like sees this happen, sees that like Nyx was in trouble too, and now Vox is in trouble. Atticus, you see like Burt look over at you, and you see this little toad. Even in his armor, you see him like take a deep breath, and you see him like put his head down and go running towards the pedestal. And I'm going to make that Constitution save for Burt. Burt makes the Constitution save.
Let's go, Burt! Let's go!
Okay. It's 13. You see, as Burt moves into this, just sort of just like in his armor, you see him get a little bit smaller than he already even is, as he sort of like braces himself against whatever is in this orb pulling at him. But he's going to dash in, and he's going to make his attack. And because he rolled high enough, he's going to do... God, what is... I don't even have his damage stuff up. I think he does... Okay, 8. This thing makes the serpent makes its Constitution save to like hold concentration, remain invisible, but you do see like Burt slide in and drive the blade upward, kind of like next to Vox and Nyx, and you see it just sort of like part of the blade disappears as it goes up into the jaw of this thing. That is the end of Burt's turn. That is going to be the keeper.
So Burt has no problem with all the ball bearings all over the place?
He's got those like frog feet,
got-
like it just like kind of wraps around and like moves through it.
He just leaped.
I think even with because Burt was right at the outskirt of that orb, even like moving through, because it's just hazardous, right? Or do you have to make a dex save?
I think your movement is reduced.
I think it's reduced. He would still be able to make it to the serpent, even moving at half speed.
Creature at half speed.
I'm not saying I'm actively rooting against us, but you know.
Okay. I think as Burt drives the blade upward, though, you see him hold that for a moment, like most of his blade has disappeared into this creature. And then you see Burt lifted off the ground, and as he's sort of like raised up, you see him struggling.
So many dice rolls. I'm terrified.
That is, you see, not going back on his vow of silence, but you do like. I think Atticus, you are probably, and Maury would be too, but you're close enough to see like a pained look as you just see like you hear like the grating of something against Burt's armor, and you just see like blood begin to pour out from underneath the armor as these like bite marks kind of appear around Burt's torso. He is still conscious though. And I will say that takes us back to the top of the initiative order.
Wait, did I get a turn? Or
Yes.
Oh, we started in the middle and we passed me and then came to the top.
No, we already went. We went through a full
Yeah.
rotation of turns.
Yep.
That
Yeah, so
was
this
one
is
rotation.
our okay, that's
Yep.
what I was
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
coming.
Yeah.
We're coming up to the top, so this will be your second time through. Do we
Thank you.
want to take our bathroom break real quick,
Before we all die.
or do we want to just keep going?
I want to beat this thing.
I want to keep going.
Okay, let's keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we are back to the top of the initiative order. Nyx, it's your turn, but you're unconscious. You don't have to be
Yeah,
making.
Not take actions? Am I just like laying there?
Yeah, you don't have to make death saving throws anymore, which is great. You're
can heal myself.
stabilized. Yeah, but you can't heal yourself because you're still unconscious. Which means that it just skips to Mori's turn, I think, before.
Can
Mori's-
I?
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Can I make a memory check
Yeah, for sure.
as they're having a almost death experience?
Yeah. Yeah,
what
make
did we
that-
say?
I think we actually.
charisma?
I think we might have changed it from charisma to be an insight check on
Okay.
self.
It was insight on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shitty roll, so it's an 11.
Okay. Yeah. On an 11, on an 11 right now, you are unconscious. You're not seeing anything. I think I might use that 11 in a little bit though. But right now you're just
You
unconscious.
Not give me anything that was a bad roll. They can just be unconscious.
Well, Mori, that's going to make it your turn.
So where did Burt leap to? Towards the pedestal?
Burt went straight towards the pedestal, took the damage and was still standing, made a strike, but now is like actively, like you can see like Burt is just sort of like hovering in the air because this invisible creature has like picked him up and bit him.
And Nyx and
Vox are both
are
unconscious, like right there underneath
at the
where
base
Burt
of
is.
it.
Yeah.
Ugh, okay. I'm going to have the shadow spawn move towards that pedestal to attack the snake where like Burt is kind of like hanging from and is gonna like attack
Cool.
in that area.
Okay.
So is that just with disadvantage?
It is not. I think because you can see where. Yeah, it is with disadvantage, but you can because you see Burt there, like you can tell where it is. So you're just attacking with disadvantage.
So yes. Okay, I got 17 and 9. 9 plus. 9 plus probably doesn't hit.
Nine on the die or 9 total?
9 on the die.
Okay.
Is it just the proficiency bonus of the creature?
Yeah, wait, what is tell me one more time what the spell is.
The summon shadow spawn. It's the
Yeah.
fury one, and I think it's just the proficiency bonus. So 9 plus. What's my proficiency?
Yeah, I mean it would just be
Plus 3.
yeah, proficiency
So
bonus.
it'd be
of-
12.
Yep, equals your bonus.
I don't think that hits.
12 doesn't hit.
Okay, but I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast at that same location.
Cool.
And that's going to be a dirty 20.
That hits.
It's actually 22. And it's 9 plus 1, 10 damage.
Okay. This thing's gonna make its Constitution saving throw to keep concentration. It makes it. This thing stays in. The bolts slam into it. It remains invisible though. I think you all just see Burt suspended there.
I'm going to move away from it.
Okay. I think you're right now, like, really, you're kind of backed into the corner, far enough away from the orb that you're not in, like, the orb's sphere of influence, but you're about as far away from this thing as you can get.
Cool. Cool.
And that makes it your turn, Atticus.
Atticus, no questions asked, sees Burt dangling, like, looks in pain, is gonna run and just try and cleave it.
Yeah. I think you're running close enough to this thing. Go ahead and make you can see where Burt is. You can either run to that area where the head is. You are going to then, like, come close to that orb.
I'm trying to hit it from, like...
If you're trying to, like, come from behind and you would technically be flanking it if you did that, you do need to make me a perception check to see if you can figure out where the rest of its body is. Because right now all you see is, where the head would be, because that's where Burt is suspended.
Okay. Uh, 15.
On a 15, that is high enough that you can sort of see, like, you see a couple shifts about 10 feet back, more like 20 feet back from Burt. Like, you see a couple where, like, actively, like, you see some of those ball bearings move to the side as it, like, shuffles its feet around. So you are, in this particular case, attacking with disadvantage, but then because you're flanking, because Burt is still conscious and, like, at the head of this thing, you're just making the attack rolls flat.
This is just gonna bring his comically big sword up and swing it down. And 15.
15 hits.
Okay. Uh, 9 on that first hit.
Okay.
And then he's going to do the same thing again. That's a nat 20.
Dude, over and over again.
Dude, these
Keep giving it.
dice.
The
dice.
that I bought you are absolutely loaded.
It's like, yeah, it's
Except
either
they're
super high.
like it's Jasper, so I guess it can't be loaded intentionally. They're just
It's that or I roll ones. It's like,
yeah.
okay. 21. 21
So you have a-
damage.
Okay.
So your die's a 50-50 die, huh?
Yeah, it's either 1 or 20.
It's just a coin. It's just a coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make 2 concentration checks for this thing. That one is okay. You drive the blade in the first time. You hear like just this ungodly screech from this creature, and I think as you come in for the second blow, and you just as you're making a gash in this thing's side, Atticus, just much like Nicolas Cage in the beloved film, that you are just like drenched from like the just this spray hits you from the torso up, and with a nat 1 on its Constitution save, this thing winks back into visibility, and you see like
I don't remember
Burt
that in
its
National Treasure.
jaws. Oh yeah, it's like the third trap.
I was talking about Raising Arizona. Personally, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. With this thing visible again, at the end of your turn, Atticus, it is going to just drop Burt out of its jaws, whip back around towards you, and it is going to use
Atticus is just smiling, covered in blood, like
one of its legendary actions. 10. I'm guessing that a 20 does hit.
it does hit.
Okay. Okay. I think is it like sort of like turns around to it, like one of the arms lashes out and just sort of like goes to like backhand at you, and it's you're going to take 16 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing kind of like just whips its arm out and makes contact with you.
Atticus is gonna laugh.
That makes it Jeff's turn. Oof. That is, first one's a miss. Second one's a miss. Jeff is not doing great. Perrin, that is your turn.
Parent.
Pedestal's here. Nyx and Vox are both down. Atticus is attacking. It just came back into visibility, and it's holding Burt. How high in the air is Burt?
It's not. It actually dropped. It kind of like flung Burt away and like turned back around towards Atticus. So Burt is still conscious and like down on the ground, also like right near the orb with Vox and Nyx.
Okay. If I'm reading these spells correctly, and if I remember how we have this set up with Amos correctly, this is what I want to do. I'm going to have Amos use Shatter, aiming above this creature's head so that it is within the area of effect, but that it is not hitting anyone else on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how tall it is compared to Atticus, with Atticus being right there. So you tell me.
I think you can certainly hit its, like you can, the ceilings are high enough in this room that you can cast this thing high enough to where it just hits the head of this thing.
Okay.
And it's
so
not
I'm assuming,
else.
yeah, with the way Amos and I are in this room, Perrin's going to give a little whistle, and this 10-foot radius sphere of Shatter is going to hit this creature.
Cool.
Which, if I'm reading the spell correctly, does not deactivate Sanctuary on Perrin, because Perrin is not the one doing this attack. It is originating from Amos. And Perrin is going to, paired with Atticus laughing at this attack, Perrin is going to attempt an intimidation against this thing.
Okay. So what's is a con save for Shatter?
Oh, I just moved the tabs. Sudden loud ringing noise. Each creature centered on the point must make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Yeah, just saving throw.
I would imagine that with a 27, this thing succeeds. This is an 18 on the die. So I think it's just half damage for Shatter.
Half damage, which is 3d8 half. Sorry, I was reading the rest of this. Inorganic material. I don't think that helps it, right?
No, it did against the constructs, but
Okay, here's the one maybe iffy part about this plan. Is that any non-magical objects that aren't being worn or carried also take this damage. So I don't know if this is going to affect the pedestal or anything else in that area. That might be a problem.
If you're casting
Non-magical.
this high enough not to hit anyone else, yeah, if you're casting this high enough to not hitting, it's not going to hit the pedestal. The pedestal is really only like 4.5 feet tall.
Right. So
The
this is
pedestal
definitely
magic too, right?
right. So this is hitting the
pedestal
air
would
and
be
this.
the orb would be, yeah.
Okay, this is hitting the air and the ceiling above this thing.
Not even the ceiling. That's how high the ceilings are. in here.
Okay, I was trying to trick you because I was gonna try to convince you that the ceiling collapsed. I just didn't want to ask directly.
Yep.
So okay. So then okay, yeah. So shatter happens, and Perrin says, I don't know, something super cool, right? I always say cool one-liners, guys, right? Perrin says, you know what? Perrin just reaches into his pocket full of blood and smears blood on his face, and he also laughs like Atticus is laughing. And that is his intimidation roll against this thing.
Cool. Make me an intimidation roll.
So 22.
Okay. On a 22, but not a natural 20 on the die, right?
No, dirty.
Cool. Go ahead and roll me that damage for the shatter.
Okay. Uh, 11 halved is 5 because I think you round down.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Amos, you just hear this like keen, like this unnaturally loud keen come out of this mockingbird, and the air around vibrates. The serpent kind of like ducks its head, and you just sort of like see the like just this immediately like trauma appears like on its head, and as it just starts to like more blood starts to come out of this thing, kind of drip
Is it
down
still
into
alive?
its mouth. It's not looking great. It's not looking great at all.
Just give up. Just give up.
In that 22 intimidation, like the thing is going to look at both you and Atticus laughing. And hold on. I'm going to... at the end of your turn, Perrin, it's going to use its second legendary action to reach down, and it is going to, like, as it goes to grab for oh my gosh, hold on, I did that thing where you choke on your
No, we don't know what's happening.
Is this happening to the creature?
Yeah. The giant moth thing grabs its cup of like sleepy time tea and is like,
This is really immersive. No,
So
Sean, we're
so
fighting a
sorry.
snake. We're fighting a
Oh.
snake with
It's
arms.
not. Sorry.
Get
still
it
thinking about
together.
Moth. I know.
You see,
Not
this
everything
thing...
is a moth.
God,
I'm sorry.
everything's a moth in this episode.
I'm sorry. We started.
Oh my god, it's happening again. Oh my god, hold on.
It's all right. I know what you were gonna say. And then everybody won, and we were happy, and everybody got rich.
Suddenly, the snake died.
And the game.
The snake was like, I have seen the folly of my ways. I will give you whatever you want in here. Just don't kill me.
The snake, quick.
Yeah, we're gonna recruit the snake.
New Burt. New Burt.
New
Okay,
New
God.
Burt.
You-
New Burt.
Henceforth, you are known as Burt 2.0.
Burt's new mech.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you all see this serpent go to reach down for the unconscious Vox. Why? God, I can't get rid of it.
This is now a text RPG.
It really is. Hold on, sorry. Okay,
You have to
wait,
try
I
to
think
make
it-
it so the
Nope.
eyes cover your
It's
eyes.
not gone. All right, wait. We're gonna have to take our bathroom break like mid while I go like fix whatever this thing is that's happening. So let's go. We'll start
Okay.
it. Well, yeah. Well, let's do our bathroom break now, and we'll be back in like 10. Oh my god. Okay. So obviously, Vox, you are lying unconscious on the ground. The serpent goes into reach for you. And I think dashing in between you and the serpent, like sword raised, Burt comes in. And oops.
My heart can't take this.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did my intimidation do anything? I'm so sorry.
No.
You're very
I mean,
Okay.
this thing is the giant serpent with like legendary actions and resistances
yeah.
and like
I
no.
just wasn't sure.
Yeah, a
Okay.
nat 20 would have done something, but Burt comes in, sword raised, like slashes the
Burt's still
serpent
up.
kind of recoils. Burt's still up. Burt's still barely up. The serpent draws back its hand, looks down at Burt, and it's going to dive in for the bite on Burt. 12 points of damage, but even with 12 points of damage, I think all of you see like Burt comes in, slashes, the serpent draws back and goes to bite. The top half of Burt, like it sort of just like disappears into this thing's jaws as it bites down, and it just tosses Burt to the other side, and Burt's unconscious body just like hits the wall and then like falls to the ground and rolls. Burt is going to be making death saving throws on his turn. Oh god, it's starting again. Why?
Can't do it right now. You can't do this right now. You can't choke right now.
I can't choke right now.
Stop eating almonds. That's your problem.
I don't think it's the almonds though. I think the almonds helped actually.
How?
Definitely
As
don't.
he takes a few
No.
more bites.
I don't know. There's a
I-
possibility
stop.
that maybe I'm like allergic to something in this tea that I've been pounding, so that'll
be a fun night.
but I'm not allergic to anything that I know of, so that would be weird. That is this thing's legendary action though, and that was Perrin's turn. Vox, it is your turn, and on your turn I need you to make your first death saving throw.
You're muted, Q.
I failed.
Okay. So that is
I have a question, Elijah.
yeah.
Is there a way to get a character awake that does not involve healing spells?
Not from unconsciousness. If you were asleep, yeah, like a light slap or something would do it. But because you were unconscious and now you're stabilized, you're still just unconscious, and so you have to be healed by something, or just take a long rest, and that would bring you back.
We'll just nap where we lie. Alright.
Okay. Vox, that's your turn. Fauna, it's you.
Okay, Fauna, I am going to just try to shoot it with a purple again.
Yeah.
That's all I got, you guys. That's all I got. So we're doing that. She's really winding it up this time, though. You know, like she's just pulling back.
Oh, you can see it, so you can take advantage on this if you want to use the cat to take advantage.
I will.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So that is 24.
Okay, that's definitely a hit.
Okay, and then I still have an ancestral shroud on.
Yep.
So. That's 7 points of damage.
Okay, cool.
And then as my bonus action, Fauna's going to because she's still standing by this cabinet and she sees that everybody's really in a situation over on the other side of the room. And so to try and distract from that, she's just gonna fuck up this mask cabinet. Just get in there and mess all the masks up, throw them
I
on the
love
ground.
it. I love it.
And
That's
maybe she's gonna grab one and put it in her pocket while she's doing that.
Okay. And are you trying to do this? You're trying to do this as a visible action too, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to hide it. Yeah.
Be like, hey, big guy.
We're gonna call this to get this thing's attention, just a performance check. But you get to do it with advantage, because you're fucking with something very particular.
Okay. 17.
On a 17, you shoot that firebolt. It makes contact with this thing's head. Again, it's not looking good, but as it sort of snakes its head around now to look over its body back at you, and it sees you, I think not even so much the messing with the cabinet and knocking masks down off of it, but it's when you take a mask and grab it that this thing lets out the loudest shriek that it has yet. And then Fauna, if that's the end of your turn, it's Burt's turn, so he's going to make his first death saving throw. Okay. And on this thing's turn now, it's going to whip around and it heads straight for you, Fauna.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
I think because of how long its body is, it can Yeah, actually the way that it's turning it that it has to move to get back to Fauna, you would. Yeah, so go ahead.
And that's just a normal attack roll?
Yep.
Okay. 18.
18 hits.
Uh, 5.
Okay. Yeah, you open another wound on the side of this thing, but it doesn't even pause for a moment. It heads straight for Fauna. And Fauna, I need you have to make, it's going to use its front two arms to try and grapple you, pick you up with both of them. So you have to make a contested, you can either make an athletics or an acrobatics check, whichever one you're better at. But I will tell you, you're trying to beat a 22.
Well, I got a 7, so
Okay.
it's not great. I will
Okay.
say, I don't know if this is a damage-inducing situation, but I do have Whispered Curse on as one of my rituals. So.
Yeah, so the grapple itself isn't but because it was able to grapple you on its turn, it's also going to make its bite, which will be damage. But it does have to make an attack roll for that to see if it hits. But you are grappled now, so it's going to make that with advantage. I'm guessing that a 23 hits.
No, it's
No,
fine.
no.
Yeah, definitely.
This is where we learn the true tank.
Yeah, as it bites into your, picks you up in both hands, Fun, it's going to, bite in, and its jaws, fully, almost like the top half of your arm and your shoulder just kind of, disappear into the front of its jaws as it bites down. And you're going to take 21 points of piercing damage from this thing.
Dude, why? How is it still standing?
Okay, cool beans.
That is the end of its turn. And that takes us back to the top of the initiative order. Nyx, as you float in unconsciousness, I think you just sort of like, you are on your like back, floating in darkness. It's hard. It's kind of like, it's one of those situations where everything is like you feel perfectly buoyant, like you don't even really feel your own weight. You don't feel the resistance of anything. You don't feel temperature or and I think as you're floating there, there's just like in the darkness in front of your face, there is an image. And I think the image that you see is just, there's just this small tree. And this small tree is like sitting, there's just this stone circle, and you actually recognize the circle from the flashback memory that you had when you were in the tavern. You're in that same space, light. There's kind of like that whole, really like there is no ceiling, so there's just kind of like that basically massive skylight that the moonlight is filtering down. And in the center of the room, you just see a small tree. It's only about like 1.5 feet high. It's not that wide. But the moonlight shines down on it, and there are these white blooms that catch the light. And I think you just lay there on your back, looking at the image of this tree in front of you. And because you're still unconscious, Maury, that is going to be your turn.
Additional flavor text if anyone saw it, which I doubt, but in the middle of battle anybody is going to, but I'm going to say it anyways. What was a pained expression on their face while lying there just kind of softens a little bit into more like neutral and calm.
Okay. Maury is going to have his taking. I guess Maury is going to take a closer look at those masks. Are they and use his Eldritch Sight to see if those masks are magical or if they're just ordinary?
They're for sure. What's the wording on Eldritch Sight?
It's cast detect magic at will.
Oh. Yeah, for sure these masks are magic.
Okay. I'm going to have my Shadow Spawn go over there and attack the snake again.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and make that attack roll.
That's 10.
10 does not hit.
That doesn't hit.
Did you use your Bardic Inspiration? Because I gave it to you on my last turn.
Isn't Bardic for...
You can use it for attack rolls too, but I don't think you could use it for the Shadow Spawn because you as Maury have the Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah. Okay, and I guess Shatter's not going to do any damage to magical items. So, Eldritch Blast again. And Maury's going to move towards Burt. I got a 19 plus 8. So
that hits.
27. Great. Let's go, Eldritch Blast. 5 plus 7, 12.
Okay. This thing is, I think as you strike it, more like you see it start to stagger, and finally, like, all of you can tell this thing looks like it's on death's door. It's still gripping Fauna like its teeth, and it doesn't release, but it does stagger,
And I am going to move towards Burt, and I'm going to use my, what is it called? Awakened Mind to reassure Atticus that I've got Burt.
Cool.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay.
You see Atticus like fighting back tears right now because he's just so like, what the fuck is going on? Like 1 minute I was talking to a friend and now we're like people are dropping. But
it is at the end of your turn where it's going to use one of its legendary actions to objectively bad though. Well, Fauna does a 16 hit.
16 is my AC.
Okay, so a 16 hits. It's going to do an additional like 17 points of piercing damage as it just sort of like rips its jaws out from that bite.
Are you sure it's not like 15?
It's 17.
All right, Fauna's down.
Okay.
fuck.
It is still actively holding you, but it is like it's not biting right now. That's its legendary action. Atticus, it's your turn.
Cool. Seeing all this, Atticus is like, what the fuck? And he's just charging, but while he's charging over, he feels like a burning like on his chest, and he pulls out the card that he got and it is red hot. So I'm going to use my card to make a reckless attack on this thing to get advantage on it.
Cool.
Cool. 18.
18 hits. Go ahead and roll
Cool.
that damage. And I'll say with reckless attack, like all your attacks this round are with advantage. So
Okay. So that's 10 for the first one.
Okay.
And then for the second one, 15.
15 hits.
Okay. Thank God for the loaded dice. And that's another 10 points of damage.
Tell me what you do to this thing.
Finally! Fuck yeah. Atticus, like, stabs it to kind of, like, push it off Fauna. And then on that second attack, he just comes and just straight cleaves through its head. Just fucking, and he's screaming. He has this weird, like, barbaric rage in him right now. So he's just screaming and, like, just as soon as the head comes off, he's just laughing, like, maniacally before he starts to catch his breath again while he just watches the thing fucking bleed out in front of him.
You chop this thing's head fully off. I think, like, as you chop it, it's just kind of like release that bite on Fun. As you chop through, the head just kind of goes like flopping to the ground, and with this wet smack just hits. The neck continues to and it sort of like rears up one last time and then just collapses back onto its side. Fully, like, I mean, the spray of blood, like, it like covers the opposite wall. And it kind of like its throat gives one last shudder and cry. And this thing is dead. We're going to stay, though, in initiative order just for action economy, because until everyone's like stabilized, everyone has to keep making death saving throws. So Atticus, at the end of your turn, I mean, you have movement, but you've already used your action to attack, so you can't help anyone stabilize. I think, like, Jeff is sort of just like, taking a moment to like is like from the combat to the orc just sort of like stands there for a moment and then looks over and sees Fauna, who was kind to Jeff. I believe that Fauna was the reason that like the deciding factor that convinced I mean, Jeff didn't get a choice in whether or not he came, but I think Jeff is going to like attempt to stabilize Fauna. So medicine check.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep. That is a
My guy.
it's high enough because it's a 15 and you only have to get a 10. So Fauna, you don't have to make death saving throws. You're stabilized. Still unconscious, but like Jeff is like over there and you just see him like he takes some like herbs out of this pouch on his and just like stops the bleeding from your shoulder and your arm.
Aaron, I don't know how you did it. Make one of those doors appear again. Get us out of here right now, please.
Perrin, it is your turn.
Does,
I will tell you that
Perrin
you
think Jeff is hurting Fauna? I feel like he attacks Jeff. He doesn't know who this fucking guy is.
Make a perception check. You do because you. Oh no, you never saw
All right.
Jeff in the
20. I've never seen Jeff. He's just somebody who
can-
pounced on my friend and started shoving herbs in their mouth.
You can clearly see that he's helping. I think on a 20
Okay.
perception.
Fauna's down. Nyx is unconscious. Burt is down. Vox is down.
Yeah, both Vox and Burt are down and unstable.
And they're over kind of on the other side of the room.
Yeah, I will say like Vox is still at the foot of that orb, at the pedestal. Burt is like all the way on the other side of the room. You're closest to Vox, but she's just
I've
kind of
moved
like lying
towards
at the.
Burt as well
Cool.
to stabilize.
On your movement, yeah. I
on
think
my
Perrin.
last turn, Perrin.
I think Perrin was near Fauna and near where Atticus just killed it. So he's gonna run towards Vox, but on the way he's gonna grab like as many of those masks as he can grab and shove into his pocket, and then he's gonna run over to Vox and try to stabilize her.
I think they're scattered around. Go ahead and give me to just grab some. Go ahead and just give me a sleight of hand check. Not necessarily that you're hiding them, but just to see how dexterous you can be at like grabbing some on the run.
I nat 20 plus 3. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Just grabs all the
Perrin scoops up 400 masks.
You are able on that nat 20. I don't think you get a good look at it, but you are able to grab one of the masks, and you just sort of like shove it into your bag or like your pouch, like as you run towards Vox. As you
Now
approach.
imagine if I hadn't done that and I'd rolled a nat 20 to stabilize Vox instead of to pick up some garbage.
Yeah. But as you approach the pedestal, like everyone else, you start to feel that crushing force just pulling at your body. And make me a Constitution save.
Sorry, I'm just getting human verification over here. This is a CAPTCHA check.
Nice.
Nat 20, twice in a row.
Oh, okay. Well,
Perrin just lightly jogs up to the pedestal.
yeah. You're not gonna get pulled towards the pedestal. You're only gonna take half damage. You're going to take half it for a total of 16 points of force damage as you approach the pedestal.
Okay. Ow!
Yeah.
Bad touch.
Go ahead and make that medicine check to stabilize.
2. 15. Since we're still in,
Okay.
I don't know if that counts, but before you tell me if it does, do I still get advantage with Amos on this check because we're still in initiative order?
On medicine checks, you could, yeah. for sure.
Nah, that was still my higher roll. 15.
Okay. Yep. Vox is stabilized. I mean, it's only the DC's 10 to stabilize with a medicine check. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a nat 20 would do the same thing. Or
I wanted to heal our relationship as
so Vox is still unconscious but stabilized. Fauna, you've been stabilized by Jeff. Burt is the only one that actively has to make death saving throws. And it is Burt's turn next in the initiative order. So he's gonna make one. Okay. And that takes us back to the top of people that are conscious. Maury, that's you. And you're definitely close enough to you can get to Burt and make a check.
Medicine check, absolutely. And I'm going to use Bardic Inspiration and roll a d20, and not whatever that was. That's a 1.
Burt dies.
It's a nat 1 on the medicine check.
Now 1 on the medicine check.
I think you go to approach Burt and you like start to like kind of remove some of the armor and as you like remove the armor, you see like it's been so like mangled when it got dented in from the bite that as you go to remove it, you actively like do more damage to Burt. And so
just gonna kind of
pat
it back down.
Yeah, I think usually a failure with a medicine check doesn't result in anything. I think on a nat 1, this counts as another like death failure for Burt.
I'm gonna yell out, "We need a trauma kit over here!"
Yeah, Atticus. Atticus.
Push it back down.
Atticus is gonna run over to Burt.
Yeah.
And he's gonna make a medicine check.
Cool.
I kind of take a few steps back, letting a mother take care of its wounded.
Oh,
No.
That one. Yeah.
No!
You killed Burt! Hold on. Atticus, as you like run over and you kneel down next to Burt, this is you've seen death before. It does not look good for Burt right now. And I think you're sort of like overwhelmed and not sure what to do. And I think as you are kneeling there, like the cat is going to scamper over and like sort of like looks up at you and then looks down at Burt and just like starts licking Burt's face. And the cat is going to give you advantage on that medicine check. So you can go ahead and reroll it.
Win.
Don't do it.
Don't do it twice.
Ow.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Is it a 1 again?
Yeah.
Wait, it was with advantage, so it's the same turn. It's only 1 saving roll. Does he have another? Does Burt have another?
I mean, it doesn't do more damage than the previous one, but
Right.
it does not help him.
No.
Someone look for a healing item.
Failed his first, so it was his first fail, then Maury's 1, and now this one, so that's 3. I think he's gone.
Isn't like Cricket lurking in the wings that they could help?
Well, so here's the problem though,
Do
is
we
that
have
like
anyone left?
that was it. There's no, you can't have advantage on something that you already have advantage on.
Birdie.
Hold on. I'm gonna look up something real. Just let me look something up real quick.
The dice are loaded. Oh.
The dice are absolutely
It
loaded.
was a 50-50 die, yeah.
Need to
What
look
would
up-
ball bearings help this situation?
Ball bearings would not help the situation. I will, however, say here. You know what? This actually works because this would have been the round that it happened anyway, based off Cricket's check. I think as you think, pretty much like all of you are like, kind of like, at this point, all of you are there conscious or like keyed in on this scene happening. But Perrin, you can go ahead and make me a perception check real quick because you're not over there.
13.
Okay. On a 13, you see like sprinting back into the room. You see Cricket come sprinting back into the room.
Who Perrin does not know.
Who Perrin does not know. So you see this like
Ha!
you see this Kinku sprinting with a giant like with a big old floppy like blue pointed hat and like a cloak just come like skittering back into the room. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look, over here. And think like walking, and this is sort of like just after you've sprinted over there, Adis, you're going to see stepping into the room, Perrin, you see a figure. It's about, not terribly tall, like, and kind of like hunched over too, but you see this kind of humanoid figure hunched over, just wearing kind of like a sort of like almost this simple like black kind of like button shirt that's all the way up, and kind of like these very like drapey, it almost seems like maybe it's one piece, but these drapey black pants, but covered, like the face and the arms, the hands are just covered in this very, very fine grayish fur, and the eyes and the face, I think, are the most immediately noticeable thing. They're just these large black insect-like compound eyes. You see it has a very wide mouth that shows a lot of teeth. Not sharp, but it's maybe even more disturbing that there are so many like flat human-like teeth in a mouth this wide. And you can see sort of like almost like it's with breath, but the sides of its face, there are just these like they almost look like, as it breathes in and out, like maybe they almost seem to be working like gills, pulling the oxygen in instead of the mouth. But when they open, they also look just kind of like moth wings. They're covered in that same fur that the rest of and as this creature sort of like half hobbles, half kind of like quickly walks into the room and immediately surmises the situation. I think it's going to like look at the dead serpent on the ground and just sort of gives, oh my goodness, well, this is just fantastic. And it is going to, I'm going to make 2 rolls over here that are pretty important. One of them is an 8. One of them is a 3. Neither one of those are great. It is, however, better to give you, it is going to use, before the results of that second nat 1 on the medicine check are announced, even though I know what they are, Ingrid Saruch, the Moth, as a wizard, is going to use their divination to replace Atticus, one of your nat 1s, with an 8, as all wizards can do. So tell me, with an 8 on the die, do you make a medicine check of 10 or not?
Yeah, 12.
Okay. So with everyone but Perrin that is conscious, like kind of like bending over Burt, Atticus, you like fix the armor back, not to remove it, like Burt's gonna need some medical attention, but that like actually keeping the armor here is going to help staunch the bleeding and at least keep the wound shut as you sort of like force the armor back into place. And this this character is going to kind of like hobble over, like with this bent back, kind of like hobble over to where all of you are, and kind of, I think, look at you. Is he all right?
We need a healer now.
Healer.
I don't even know where the fuck I am right now.
Healer. Well, and you see, kind of reaching into. Let's just make a little. Richard carries a lot of stuff. Let's make a little luck check. It's not a good luck check. Sort of like rattles around. You see him just sort of like tossing little empty vials, and they just sort of like go and break on the ground. Well, I can't. I'm not sure. Top floor. Bring him to. In fact, it looks like there's several people in here who could use some assistance. Bring them all to the top floor. Cricket. And you see, sort of like turns around and addresses Cricket. To help our friends immediately to the top floor, I shall make the necessary preparations. And you see, immediately just kind of like turns on a dime and starts to quickly like hobble back out of the room towards the stairs in the hallway. Cricket is going to kind of rush over and like sort of look at Burt, and then like Cricket's very small. Lead the way. Get everyone and bring them up to the top floor. We can help. Ingrid, very, very powerful. Can help heal.
Atticus goes and carefully scoops Burt up with one hand and like looks around to see if he could pick up somebody else.
Yeah, if you want to try and pick up someone else too, go ahead and you looking for Fauna, Fauna, Vox, and
Parent is lifting up Vox at the moment.
Okay.
I'll go for Fauna.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make me a strength check to kind of like manage two of them.
Parent and Atticus
both
both
another nat one.
slathered in blood, by the way,
Wait.
as we're picking up our friends, completely coated in blood.
Can I use mold earth to move Fauna with us?
Yeah, you totally could.
Dirty 20.
I think on a dirty 20, like more if you're gonna use mold earth to kind of like do the Bucks Bunny to kind of like move.
It's okay. He got dirty 20.
Yeah,
That's
move
fine.
funnel. Yeah. So you can pick a bow, or you can go use that on Nyx.
Have at it, Atticus.
I'm gonna pick up Fauna and just go upstairs.
Cool. I think.
Oh,
that
my
you're-
babies, it's gonna be okay.
There's enough
you're
of
gonna
you
be fine.
conscious, yeah, and you've got enough tricks up your sleeve that you are able to. I think you've also got Jeff to help, but I think that you pretty quickly there's a fair amount of stairs to climb, but everyone's stable. No one's making death saving throws anymore. You do all make it to the top, and I think as you get to the top level again, the Black Mountain is this pyramid shape. So the top level, really is actually kind of this from the very time that this room starts, the walls are slanted in and just kind of taper, and you realize you're on the top floor and you can see the taper of the pyramid above you. It's a much smaller room than all the other ones. And the ceiling is not nearly as high as it kind of just comes to that point above all of you. And the lighting in here it's a little better. It's a little brighter. There's a warmer glow to it, and you do see it is absolute chaos in this room. It is filled from floor to ceiling with shelves and potions and scrolls, and there are all manner of little trinkets and artifacts lying around. There are tables just sprawled with things. You can see as you arrive that Ingrid is already over in the corner, kind of pulling little vials and things off the shelf, and just sort of quickly makes space on a table. Looks at all of you. Come, lay them down here. Right here is good. Yes, excellent. Yeah, now tilt the head up. Bring the head up. Yes, just like that. And
Little smooch to Burt.
yeah, pretty.
I don't mean to question things, but what the fuck is this, and what the fuck are we, and who the fuck is this?
Where are we?
I think as Ingrid is doing this and kind of bringing everyone back, everyone's going to kind of come back and come in at different parts for this conversation, but you do all catch it by the end because you will all be conscious again. Everyone who is unconscious, go ahead and I'll let you roll for the. Actually, I guess I'll do them because they're Indrid's potions. Everyone who is unconscious, you're going to heal for 15 hit points, and you are conscious again. And I think as like Ingrid is doing this work, he's going to look at Atticus, at you and Perrin. Oh, my dear boy, you are in the Black Mountain, and I am the Black Mountain's curator. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ingrid Saruch. At your service. You have, I must say, done me an enormous favor by killing that massive, well, by killing the keeper, as it were. It's frightful business, but for several years now, that thing has been absolutely, it's not good for business to have a kind of thing lurking about and using your shop as it's a hoard, as it were. So it's my pleasure here to, but obviously these potions will all be on the house. And I must say, what a rather interesting group of travelers you all seem to be.
Potions are on the house, you said?
Yes, but yes, the potions I've used are more than happy to provide in exchange for you eliminating that nasty beastie.
What was that thing doing here at your shop?
Well, as you know, you may have perhaps seen, I am a curator of interesting and sometimes, well, rather magical artifacts, and the keeper, the Serpent, as it were, came to me in the form of an egg. I was decades ago. Recently, I believe the conditions must have been met for it to hatch, and it has been rather. It's been a bad few years since then. I'm not sure that I really would have been able to maintain.
Something's killing your customers. I mean,
Yes, well, I have found myself even unable to interact with the artifacts, and were it not for the help of Cricket here, you see, points to the Kinku. I'm afraid that there would have been everything would have gone unmaintained in the Black Mountain.
The Parenthood is rough.
Fox, why were you and Fauna and Nyx here?
Well, we just the orb in there is what we wanted. She's kind of still shaking off, nearly dying again for the third time.
Nyx came too. It was like big gasp and like startling, and just a flurry of like spilled potions and parchments and everything as they throw themselves off the table.
Quite all right.
Atticus is gonna look at the three people in the party and just like stare at all three of them and go, "We weren't even gone for like an hour. What the fuck is wrong with all of you?"
You sent Burt to come with us. You knew where we were going. I didn't know it was going to be as dangerous as it was.
Bullshit.
We did
Bullshit,
not
Box.
where we were
Bullshit.
going.
You put not only yourself in danger, you put two other people in your party in danger. What the fuck is wrong with you?
This is the weirdest inn I've ever stayed at.
I came for the orb. I need information. I did what I had to do. Again, I didn't know there was going to be a giant legged snake.
You knew there was danger.
Danger
and you went
and a giant
anyways.
legged snake are two different
Doesn't
things.
matter.
We've been in danger before.
Yeah, and what happens? I have to come in and save all your asses again.
What about that time when you died and I saved everyone by splitting that thing from the inside out?
One time doesn't make up for all the other times.
You were swallowed.
Who killed it?
Doesn't matter. Because
There's
I'm
a
going to point at
difference
Burt.
between-
You're selfish. That's all I'm saying. You are selfish. You went
I
to
didn't-
that group. You went to whoever the fuck that woman was. And you didn't tell us shit. And then
didn't
you
force-
bled other...
Anyone's hand. Everyone came willingly and on their own accord. I did nothing but decide that that's where I was going to solve my own problems, and everyone else came because they wanted to.
One person didn't come because they wanted to, and they're not with us anymore.
What are you over here talking about?
While they're arguing, Nyx has quietly pulled their mask back down, and almost sheepishly has kind of like blended into the shadows of the people around. And Burt, Fauna, and did I know that Vox stole something?
No.
No.
No? Alright. And Vox will feel just like the softest little touch on, almost like more touching, like brushing against their clothing. Vox, you get 10. Burt and Fauna get 12 healing.
Cool.
I mean, this is just from the jump has been you, regardless of you saying I didn't force anyone. We've all been traveling together. We've all stuck our neck out for each other. What do the rest of you have to say for yourself? And he's gonna look at Nyx and Fauna and be like, you knew this was dangerous. Why didn't you wait or do something else before we all got back together? What do you all have to say for yourself?
You left. I'm here for the job.
We didn't even get a note. You just left.
We need that orb that was on the pedestal.
That's
Yes.
the one.
Perrin turns to the Moth guy and is like, "Hey, we're taking that."
As you go to address Ingrid, I mean, if anyone else is turning their attention to Ingrid, but Perrin, certainly you see it. You see that Ingrid has like lowered. He's got this like set of like eyeglasses that are on a strap, but there are like multiple lenses that can sort of like, and there's, you know, one side is actually stacked with a few more lenses than the other, but he's put these things on and is like actively looking at members of the group right now. Like right now currently is like sort of like walking all around Atticus and sizing him up. It's extraordinary. I'm sorry, and looks at you for the first time with these glasses on. My God. And is going to like come sort of closer. You might just be the most unlucky person I have ever seen. What?
Who's the Moth speaking to?
Perrin. What is attached to you? And you can see sort of like is pulling almost at like invisible threads that he seems to be seeing.
Me?
No, at Perrin.
Oh.
I think you should leave it. You should leave that alone.
You can make a persuasion or an intimidation check depending on.
Nat wanted one. Nat one did.
Nat
Fuck.
one.
These are the same loaded
Yeah.
dice that Sean has too.
On a
Yeah.
nat
These are
one,
the same dice that Sean's
Ingrid
using.
is going to lean in even closer to you, and I think at this point, you know, he's 6 inches from your face, so the stack of the like spectacles are like they're almost touching your nose as you know.
Ingrid
Sort of.
feels the point of a knife come right at the base of his spine. Their spine.
Yeah, actually, I think Perrin's gonna close the distance. He's gonna close half of that distance too.
Oh.
He's gonna lean in.
I think
In a hiss,
Ingrid is
Ingrid's ear
yeah.
is just
Fauna, Fauna, who like has not said anything yet because she's just like still waking up and trying to figure out what's going on, finally like comes to and is like hearing all of this yelling and threatening and everything, and she just sits up on the table and says, like, in a tone that's not yelling but is piercing, you know, like really like so everyone can hear her. She's just gonna say, like, all right, everyone, let's just calm down. This does not need to turn into a situation. We
That's
did not
fine.
know it was going to be dangerous. We just came here to make a fair trade with this nice gentleman. There was no threat to us coming into this situation. And
What
it's
was it
no
you
one's fault that it turned out how it is. So
What
let's
was it you
just
said your
all
name
take a
was
step
again?
back.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you. Delay.
Oh, do I have a delay?
No, I'm just slightly offset from you.
Ingrid Saruch.
Ingrid Saruch. And you see, not discouraged at all, like discouraged enough to stop looking at Perrin, but like slowly turns around, even with the point of the knife like makes a crease on his neck as he slowly turns around and I think without turning the rest of his body, almost like an owl, like his neck and head just sort of like swivel to look back at you, Nyx. Oh my. Spectacular. You are the... And kind of like looks back to Atticus and then back at you, Nyx. You are the oldest person I've ever seen. And kind of like goes to reach out and then realizes that like with the knife Brett maybe shouldn't touch your face. How do you look so young?
That kind
Right.
of takes Nyx a little aback that they can see their age when they don't even know it. Can I do a memory check?
I would say, here's what I'm going to say. This isn't really, yeah, actually, he's saying something that, yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
It can be specific to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think he has triggered, he's told you something about yourself that you were unaware of.
That's a nat 20.
20s and 1s. That's our team name.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. On the nat 20. Hold on. I'm going to look at your little secret history thing here real quick. There it is. On a nat 20, you are, just for a moment, you get this fleeting memory of you standing out. You're on the balcony of a tall tower. And this tower is kind of actually like built into a mountainside, so it's almost like a half cylinder kind of sticking out. And then, the rest of the tower is like carved back into the mountain itself. But really, you are standing on this balcony high off the ground. And I think it is dark. There's moonlight shining down, and you look down. And I think that, like, there's enough moonlight that it's not raining right now, but the smell is still there. And as you look down, there's this large puddle that you're almost kind of standing in on this balcony looking out. And in front of you, there's actually, like, far down below you, there's these waves crashing up against the base of the tower. And you look down and catch your reflection in the moonlight in this puddle that you're standing in. And you see yourself as a child in this memory. And the other thing that you realize is you're seeing yourself as a child, but you know this balcony, you know this tower, because it is the fortress for the Lord of Night, the person that you serve back in the Nightlands. And I think in that moment, having this memory, you realize that, like, as a child, you knew this place too. Andrew's kind of like still sort of just staring at you.
They're taken aback for a moment. This memory hits them. And almost in a very similar reaction to parents, they will lean in again, and the knife point will come a little bit sharper. Still not like puncturing anything, not breaking skin or fur or whatever they have going on. But they will get close in the Moth's face and stare for stare. And what do you know about me?
Well, it's not. I mean, you are very quite. You've been around for quite some time, and you told me, but you gave the broken amulet to Cricket to fix,
yep.
Correct?
Minus one shard, but yes.
Cricket is sort of standing there next to you, and kind of like looks at the question you're asking, looks at Ingrid, and reaches into the cloak and pulls out the shard, and holds it up. Ingrid looks down at the shard. Oh, and you can see the compound eyes just like lock on it and go wide, which is rather startling because they're already very large eyes anyway. Locks eyes with it. My God. And you, without saying a word, just kind of steps back a little bit and, kind of has a stooped back anyway, but just gives a very low bow. But the princess of the Court of Night here in the Black Mountain, why, you're the most distinguished. And you, I think no check necessary. You actually see like little tears welling up in these very large eyes. And I think as Ingrid does this, he's also like continuing to look at all of the party. All of you. Truly, all of you are. You all have your own particular forgive me. I've been prattling on. What can I do? Anything for all of you? You've gotten rid of that awful serpent for me, and now you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We want the bowl that Vox wants.
The orb.
The bowl, I don't care, or whatever. We're taking something.
She's gonna pull out the drawing of it. It looks like this thing.
Oh my. Oh. Lenora's orb. I see. Well, Certainly. And go ahead and make me a persuasion check with advantage, Vox.
Next is going to quickly, like it's a snatch, but made like with a particular like note of gentleness to snatch the locket away from Cricket. Like they want it safe, but it's not necessarily like.
Yeah, you grab it, and Cricket just kind of like looks up at you, isn't bothered by it at all, and just kind of like nods at you.
I think while this conversation has been going on between the group, Maury's lost interest a little bit and has started going through parchment papers and looking for scrolls of it or anything of interest.
Cool. Yeah, make an investigation check. Vox, what's the perception or the persuasion?
It was a 24.
Okay. On a 24, Ingrid comes up close to you. Nora's orb. Yes. A very rare artifact indeed. Are you aware of the properties of this particular item, my dear?
Can I do a background check to see, or would that be a history to see?
It'd be a history or an arcana check. Either one.
They both have the same bonus, so.
Cool.
That's a 7 for either. So
You've never heard of this thing before. This is the first time. Certainly the first time that you even hearing the name of it. Lenora's orb doesn't ring any bells.
Is that one that would ring a bell for Perrin?
Yeah, he's saying it out. I mean, anyone who wants to can make a history check.
Dirty 20
about this, because I think he's
I'm
cool.
gonna do one too.
So that was a 15 plus my bardic inspiration. I'm going to use it now and get 21 plus 3, so 24.
Okay.
I got 18.
23.
Okay.
Jesus.
23. All right, here they come. Here come the high rolls now on checks.
Fox, you've never heard of MTV? Jesus.
On let's see.
Burt's alive, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Burt is alive.
So Atticus, while he was yelling, was like hand on Burt the entire time.
So I think the highest check was a 23, right, for history on the orb.
Yeah, I got a 23.
Okay, cool.
And then didn't Maury get a 23 as well?
Maury got a 24 on the investigation but his investigation was looking for things. I will tell you, Maury, that you are kind of like as you're going through these papers, you see a lot up here and you realize that there's not a lot of actual art. This is kind of like you think on that investigate, like this is the space where Ingrid goes through items that come in to see if they actually are worth it's pretty good at on the spot appraisals, but it takes some time then to truly identify what something is. God, and on that 24, go ahead and roll me. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a D4.
4.
Okay. You come across it, there's this little chest that looks like it's sort of but it's open. It looks like it's sort of set aside. There's clutter everywhere and stacks of things and boxes that stuff have been taught. It seems like things have been placed in this little chest with particular care. And I think on that investigation check, it seems like this is probably where the items that have true value go. And in it, you find 3 things. You see a small ring made out of burnt hardwood. You see a brass key next to that, just kind of like a smaller for a skeleton key, but and you see a small glowing coal that is actually still, it's not actively burning anything, but it is warm to the touch. You see these 3 items in the chest, and then I think directly behind the chest in this small little like glass bell jar, you see this tiny little tree that just has these white blossoms growing off of it. Atticus, on the 23 for the orb, you hear the name Lenora. You're fairly versed with, you are certainly not the only person to have had a long and storied life. And I think in your contact, like with other people during that long and storied life, you've always made very careful note of the other people that you come across that also have long and storied lives. And you would know that while like vampires are very few and far between on the continent, you've only met a handful in all the centuries that you've been walking, Namira. You do know that the very first was said to be Lenora Grand, and she's supposedly the queen of vampires. And so I think you know that Lenora, while supposedly is no longer alive, she was said to have left behind artifacts that not only contained they were like vestiges of her power. You also know that if one can collect all of those vestiges, it is possible to resurrect her. Or at least that's what people say.
Atticus, like, hears this, and his demeanor immediately changes from, like, upset to just, like, wait. Why are we going after this orb? We should not be anywhere near this thing. This thing should be destroyed.
This orb is the key to getting information that I need.
Do you know what that is?
Do you?
I know that it's going to be sold for information.
I will retell to the group what Lenora's orb is and what the purpose is. And I will, after retelling that, I will be like, there is no way I will be a part of giving this to anyone. There has to be another way.
Where's Jeff right now?
Jeff is just kind of like standing there in the corner, like just kind of sitting, watching the conversation going, not making any words, doesn't necessarily look threatening, but is just kind of sitting there taking it all in.
What is he sitting on?
He's sitting
Just so happens to be
just sitting cross-legged on the floor. I think you're relating this, and you say what you say about getting information, and Ingrid is going to look closer at you again, Vox.
It's information you're after, is it? This must be very important information to be willing to trade such a powerful artifact.
It's information that could change my life, change everything for me.
Well, I'm not sure what information that is. It sounds incredibly important, but I will tell you that as a collector of things, it is not... information is something that I have in great supply here at the Black Mountain. In fact, for instance, I can tell you that you my dear, Vox Winvalor, is it?
You know that just from looking at me? And she's kind of going to look at the glasses to think, like, is it that?
Abby, it's
Ingrid clocks it.
well, indeed. I mean, the glasses tell me a great deal. For instance, you have a blight attached to you. Not a terrible thing, but well, you know, they can be. They mimic your. Anyways, if you let them escape and grow, it can cause all kinds of mischief in the future. Certainly, that's something that the glasses allow me to see. But no, hearing the name and knowing you look remarkably like your mother.
You know my mother? You've seen her?
Eva Winfuller, yes. Currently, being held, how shall we say it, rather a hostage situation, but for an extended period of time, by the current regent of Balak Morgrasp.
A fucking mouse.
You don't mind if I interrupt for a moment?
No,
Who is this guy? And Perrin points at Jeff. Should we be talking about this?
I think Jeff's gonna look
Just
at
with, like-
all of you like.
Who is this guy?
I mean, you know that. I think the party who took Jeff with you know it's like Mira's enthralled servant or bodyguard, but doesn't necessarily like Mira, as far as you know, doesn't necessarily have any connections to the regent.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to bring him. He's got the muscles since Atticus was out gallivanting and drinking beer from the smells of y'all.
Pick somebody with better muscles. And Perrin gives
And I
Atticus a high five.
And I thought maybe we could help.
Atticus is
him.
just staring Vox down.
And a
Like-
smack on the ass.
My dear girl, you are currently wanted for regicide, I believe. No? Yes?
Technically, yes. Did I do it? No. Did
Oh,
I
no.
do it? Yes, but not that one.
Well, oh, well, I was just, no need to confess anything here. No one ever knows what's listening in these spaces. I will say, however,
And there's a pause as I think Ingrid takes a moment to think carefully about what he says next.
you are aware that your mother is the half-sister of the regent.
No? What? No.
She's
We lived a quaint life before she was taken.
Ah, yes, well, that was why. It was her choice of that life that led Balak to, do what he did in the first place. You see, when your mother chose to leave and be with your father, Terran, wonderful man, she had to forfeit her rather significant inheritance, being part of the Morgrass family and leaving her, well, her lofty position, as it were, to marry a commoner, she was denounced, and in being denounced, the patriarch of the family, in such great grief, took his own life, and the inheritance did not pass to Balak.
Honestly, all of this is history. What I care is just getting her out. How is this helpful?
Well,
Is she locked up?
She's up in that tower. That's what I thought I saw. That's why I'm here from the orb, so I can get information to get into that tower and get her out.
I don't believe she's locked up. I believe under some kind of an enchantment that binds her to Balak. I'm not sure what the nature is or what could be done about it. Certainly, if I were, I would be more than happy to lend a hand, given all you've done for me here today. I do wish I could be of more assistance.
You were trapped by that snake, right?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say trapped. I mean, I wouldn't leave the Black Mountain often anyway, maybe once or so every decade, but it has been troublesome having to get around with that thing.
Bad for customers. How long has that thing been there?
Oh, it's been hatched for several years now.
So, wouldn't you say we freed you from that thing?
Certainly, you've done me an enormous favor by killing the thing. Yeah.
So your freedom for her mother's freedom, you're gonna help us, and I'm gonna do a persuasion check on that.
Yeah, go for it. Do it with advantage.
That's a 3. That's a 10 plus 8, 18.
That one was better.
On an 18,
A little bit.
Ingrid's going to look at you.
Help, yes, freedom for freedom. Fair. Can't be gone from the Black Mountain for that long. Perhaps I can. Perhaps there is something I can do to discern the nature of the enchantment.
You see. To me, Maury, where's the book right now?
Oh, it's on me. Like it's not out particularly, not yet. It's like it's holstered like a little if needed, but
you see that Ingrid is going to look down and catches the book. Lens is still on.
What a day. What a day indeed. I simply must have. Do you mind a portrait? I must remember this moment. All of you gather get a cricket if you would be so kind as to.
Ingrid.
Do you mind?
Focus.
Yes.
Focus.
Yes. Focusing.
Focus.
Yes. Help. I can
Fox's
discern.
mother.
I can discern the nature of the enchantment and perhaps provide you with some useful artifacts in obtaining her freedom. Yes. Yes, I can do that.
If you can
Sorry,
do
did
that,
you say
I'll.
that Morgrass was the regent now? And Nyx resignedly putting things together in their mind, what they know, is finally going to come clean with what they know, and turn towards Vox. I think we found who framed you for regicide.
And how did you do that?
He was there. He arranged it.
He arranged Who? Then who did it? If he arranged it, if he didn't do it by his hand. I knew he always had something to do with it. He's a grease. He's a monster, honestly.
Elijah, correct me if I'm wrong. I saw somebody who looked like him, knew that he was.
Yeah.
But
So I'll interject because you would totally know this from the memory that you recall. You know that the person that you saw, you do, I think, actually know that you were hired by Balak. I do think that Calathus told you that much. You also know that, so Balak, you were hired by Balak. The person that you saw in the memory that actually killed the king, the Lord Edris Salt, wasn't Balak, was a large, I think, longer hair, very strong, like lots of scarring on the face, huge broad shoulders, like very thick arms, massive jaw. And I think that you would be able to describe him well enough from your memory that, Vox, you would know without a shadow of the doubt is your uncle.
Trying to think if I want to do this.
Yeah, he would have you would have known him only as Theon, Nyx. But you were hired by Balak, and then the man that you were working with was Theon.
I think I'll just give like basic descriptor of Theon to Vox. And I mean, he was the knife, but Alec was the money and the thought behind it. Especially if the inheritance passed him up. Now he has your mother to try and get that money and all the power as regent.
How do you know all of this?
And Nick's gonna look towards the moth and just kind of shrug it off. And you heard them. I've been around for a long time.
Can I do an insight check?
Yes. Oof! I rolled low. It's an 11 for deception.
16.
Nice.
I think, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nyx. Vox can tell you're holding back.
Mm-hmm.
What aren't you saying? Who are you? How do you know this? You came out of a locket and said you were going to kill people, and now you're saying that you know information that somehow no one even knows that I'm framed for? And Vox is getting a little heated and is walking kind of closer.
Ingrid, you said, correct me if I'm wrong, princess of what?
The princess of the court of night.
The box of items I found earlier, was it open face or is it like behind a glass?
No, it was open.
It's open face?
Yep.
Okay, great. Just checking.
I don't know what I am. This is new to me too, but I
just want to know how you know what you know, because I can see it on your face. You're lying. You're keeping something.
I was there, all right?
Awkward.
You were there? So you've known this whole time, seeing my face posted around this entire city? You were
knew
there?
as much as you did that you were framed. We all knew that.
But you were there. You know who did it.
I know a face. I don't know why or who. I'm only just now putting it together.
Vox
It's like
is
waking up from a dream for me.
Vox is going to spit at her feet and turn and walk away. And just like trying to, even if she has to leave the room, is just done. Is mad, just got all this information. And then finding out someone that has been in their party knew too much is just leaving.
So, Indrid, have you ever seen Smith work like this? Parents are uncomfortable with all this, so he's like showing his weapon and be like, "Yeah, you ever see this?"
A weapon of remarkable. Yes, yes, yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
And Perrin's gonna like look at Fauna and flick his eyes back at Vox.
A weapon of remarkable construction. I have.
Do you want me to go talk to her? Is that?
I mean, Perrin does.
All right, Fauna's gonna go talk to Vox.
I've never seen anything quite like it, my boy.
I'm missing a piece.
I'm missing a piece. Yes, well, I do not. Perhaps in the lower sections, it's been some time since I've been down there, but perhaps in the lower sections, Cricket, can you see the make of this weapon?
And Cricket's just going to come up and inspect it real quick and then look back at him.
Yes, well, scurry on down now to the lower levels and see if you can't find something. What piece do you believe is missing?
Oh, it's an attachment here at the top. My dad told me about it.
Yes.
Perrin has a dad?
See if you can't find.
Yeah, it's Atticus.
This day is getting crazy, Maury. What?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't Perrin everyone's dad? So that would make Perrin his own dad.
Yeah.
That's how come he's the princess.
Yeah, in the extended universe, I think, yeah, Cricket's gonna scurry out the door, heading down to the lower levels.
Fauna does go follow Vox out.
Yeah.
I'm such a little sweetie pie.
I know.
She's just trying to hold the group together. I mean, come on now. I'm not really sure why, since she just doesn't really know any of these people. She just joined up.
For the story, baby.
Yeah.
Atticus is gonna look at Nyx after hearing the whole thing about the princess of the Shadowlands, basically, or I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
of
the
it off top of my head.
Nightlands. Yeah.
The Nightlands. And he's gonna kind of not even do an insight, just kind of look and be like, I believe you. I believe what you're saying. It must be a shock right now to figure this, learn about yourself. I mean, shit, I get it. Sorry for yelling.
I don't know what she expects from me. I mean, you all know what I am. I kill. That's what I do. That's what I am.
For someone clearly who has lived a longer life than me, we're more than just a sum of our parts, and that's not the whole you.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but considering all my parts are scattered across who knows where, that's the only part I care about and the only part I will hold on to for now. Court of Night bullshit is fancy, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
As it shouldn't. hate that government. I hate that kingdom. So it shouldn't mean shit to you. But with that being said, I mean,
They'll quirk their head a little bit, and you know it.
yeah, I mean, we slaughtered like 40 of them back in the cave like a couple days ago. I mean, they're not supposed to be here. This isn't their land. They're acting on the behalf of something and operating in the land they shouldn't be in, period. We can talk about it more. There's history with them that or I have at least a personal vendetta against one of their generals, so we can talk about this another time, but don't
Have
give up.
people
That's
left
all I'm
the
saying.
room that Ingrid was in?
I think Vox and Fauna have left the room.
Yeah, because I think Vox went like out into the
Flash
hall,
sideways
or
to
I'm
that
not sure
hall.
what.
Yeah.
Is there a hall? Like, I don't know what's outside of that room, but
Yeah, I think as this we'll probably wrap it up here soon. I think as we're like we'll leave that room to kind of like follow fun, like you head out to follow Vox with the cat beside you. And Vox, I think unless you started just wandering aimlessly around the Black Mountain, you're not far outside the room.
Start wandering aimlessly, but I don't think that Vox is necessarily in the mood for company, but I'll let you see what you say and see if it changes her mind.
what about Fauna like whispers to the cat, and the cat just goes up to Vox and like does a little twine around the legs and a little.
How can
Rub.
anyone say no to that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, lure me in with the cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Certainly not a bear.
Yeah, I think Vox, if you are wandering around, I think like you can make your way to like the next level down. It's a larger
Yeah.
room than the one that you were just in. Ceilings are a little higher. Anything that like again like this one's also like kind of like that initial room that you all entered to, and you can't like this one is also very cluttered too.
Mhm.
There's just sort of like stuff. There's cabinets everywhere. There's no shelves in here, so it is kind of a little bit more of display, but there are like crates of things stacked and just sort of stuff all over the place.
Are there a pile of weapons? Vox needs weapons
Vox
bad.
needs some help.
Yeah, Vox. And I think like while she's being mad and thinking about how she's gonna break into this castle, essentially, yeah, she's looking for weapons, looking for anything that she's gonna find useful.
Cool. Make an investigation check for me.
That is a nat 20 plus 7.
Best weapons ever.
Our rolls have been insane this session. It's
It's
just
either
truly the
higher-
worst of the worst and the best of the best.
Yeah, we're either doing great or we're dead.
I think you are looking around and you find this. It's very. It's like interesting enough to like you're not looking for long before you sort of find this thing, and it's kind of just like on top of a crate next to a few other items, but it is this like contraption that is rigged up. I think that on the Nat 20 investigation, like this thing actually does. It is in here not because it is necessarily magical. It is in here because it is very, like a mundane, but a very, very interesting mundane item. Like you've never really seen a weapon, like you've never seen a weapon like this before. And what it is there's like this, you can see this like gauntlet piece that sort of like comes down almost like there's a kind of a glove to it that like covers it's fingerless, but it like comes down over 2 fingers and then sort of runs down the hand and then attaches to a larger like kind of like mechanical cuff
Thank
right
God,
here.
this sounds ranged, and
Um,
that is what I
and
need.
yeah, and there are then like further. You can tell there's almost like these like tension bearing, these like little tension bearing tendon things that run, like there's like 3 of them that run up, and you can see this piece that is almost like an epaulet, like looks like it would attach to your shoulder, and be like you can tell would you use to like create tension if you extend your arm. And then there's a little tiny like release mechanism that comes up from the gun, almost like, so you can, I mean, really, I guess in making this thing up on the spot, I've realized that what I've just described is like a fantasy
Spider-Man.
web. Yeah, that is going to be where the tension plate is. And you can see that this thing, it's basically like shoots. There's a small thing here. This thing is made to shoot very small, but very dangerous. You can see because next to there's just like a small kind of like little, like a few of these scattered next to it. These incredibly sharp little, almost needle-like darts. They're incredibly thin. You can see that you can load them. Like there's a little loader on the wrist thing. And I will send you the specs for that
Heck
after the session.
Does it come with great responsibility with all that power?
Oh, it certainly does.
Before we end, I think Nyx would actually like to go find Vox after a moment.
Okay, cool. So here, we're going to end on this then. I think fun is you are headed down to that room to like, and you already have your plan of like sending the cat first to sort of like butter Vox up.
I think it was more like Fauna just wanted to make sure Vox was okay. Like,
yeah,
she needed, like, could tell that Vox needed space, so she wasn't gonna like go talk to her, but just kind of like, keep her distance. But the cat would go just kind of give her like some good vibes.
Cool.
I won't even go find her. I think I'll pass message.
Yeah. You can for sure cast message. What do you want to send in the message?
In Vox's head, it's Nyx's voice, and just a simple message of, look, I know you don't trust me. I don't blame you. But trust this. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose, know, or try to hurt you. And your mother didn't choose this either. And if there's one thing that I know about, and one thing that I hate, it's enchantment. And trust me or not, I'm going to do what I can to help break her out of that. And whether that means anything to you, well, that's up to you. But I'm doing this for her. And because it's right. And because willingly or knowingly or not, I'm part of the reason she's in that situation.
I think Vox she's a bitter girl and always kind of been distrustworthy of everyone in the party, even the people she's known the longest. Because she's a little bit of a distrustful person herself, that's how that works. She's just going to respond, it's fine, and then she's going to place on that mask that she found and disguise herself and just start making her way out to head towards the castle.
Awesome.
Ooh.
As you are about to like put this mask on, you have the mask in your hand,
Roll initiative.
and
Jesus.
And then she becomes the mask from the 90s movie The Mask.
make a perception check. Oh God. Make a perception check for me real quick.
Her face turns green and she's wearing a yellow suit and she spins like a tornado.
And yells, "Somebody stop me."
14.
Okay. On a 14, before you're holding the mask in your hand, you hear the floorboard creak behind you.
She turns to see what it is, a little,
And
holding it probably right about like here,
so
and
you're
then
holding the
turns.
mask. Yeah. You see Burt standing there looking at you. And Burt looks at you, looks at the mask, looks back at you. Doesn't say anything. Still doing his vow of silence thing. Reaches into his pocket and pulls out a note. And he's not writing it there on the spot, like whatever is on here, it's already written.
No.
And he
Vox is gonna
reaches up and hands you the note.
open the note, already kind of afraid of what it is.
And on the note, you see written, I know about the armor. It's okay.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
gonna
shit.
cry. That's so sad. I think just knowing that he came after her, Fox is just gonna kneel and just all that overwhelming pressure, and is just going to hug him and start sobbing.
And Burt is going to like hug you back. For a 3-foot toad in armor, it's a pretty good hug. And I think that is where we're going to end the session.
Oh my gosh, what a session.
Yeah, God, like
so
knockdown, drag out fight, followed by like reveal after reveal. Oh,
Burt.
okay. And we will be back, not next week, actually. We're skipping next week because Sean and I don't get back in time. So we'll be back in 2 weeks on the 27th for the next session of Castle Run.
I need to make so many notes so I don't forget.